does that say? You will soon be inspired to make a life-changing decision. Interesting. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Dr. Stephen James here to bring you another live stream. Man, when was the last time I did a live stream? Oh well, whatever. As the title suggests, I'm going to be reacting to random YouTube videos. That fortune cookie did not keep. It's kind of stale. No, get a copyright claim, shit.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down the 20 actors who died too soon.
Hey yo, is this yours? Who are you?
For this list, we'll be remembering
This video
those
is called
celebrities
20
who are
Actors Who Died
particularly
Too
missed,
Soon.
Actors who perhaps had more to give to the craft they loved.
By the way, I'll leave a
What
link
are
in the
your
description
memories of
for
these
all the videos I'll
Let
be
us know
reacting
in the
to.
comments.
It's just
Number
good
20,
YouTuber etiquette.
Chris Farley. Some actors just possess this larger-than-life presence.
I should really
Everything
use my
that
phone
permeates
next time.
Everything they do. Chris Farley was one of these people. A beloved comic actor whose work on Saturday Night Live would assist in transitioning him into a successful film career.
You're using your paper not for writing, but for rolling doobies. You're gonna be doing a lot of doobie rolling when you're living in a van down by the river.
Farley just left goodwill wherever he went. A funny man with the ability to connect on a personal level with his audience. Weight was always an issue in Farley's life, however, combined with a substance abuse disorder that mirrored Chris's idol, John Belushi.
Everybody on? Good, great, grand, wonderful. No yelling on the pot.
It was an overdose of cocaine and morphine, combined with Farley's history of atherosclerosis, that ultimately cost the man his life on December 18th, 1997. Number 19, John Candy. John Candy was a mainstay of comedic cinema.
I
in the
imagined it
1980s.
being easier
A
to get an
supremely
angle
likable and warm
on
presence
this-
that burned brightly
on the
in
TV
classics
and
like
my face at the
Spaceballs,
same
Uncle
time.
Buck, and The Great Outdoors.
Sorry to say it isn't.
Yeah, you got me. And the whole week you'll be here. Okay. Oh, wow.
Candy wasn't just a foil for goofiness either, as the man also earned acting credits in horror films like The Clown Murders or thrillers like The Silent Partner. Stress and anxiety allegedly followed Candy throughout his personal and professional life,
Hey,
while
he was
his
in
weight
Home Alone?
also fluctuated based on the actor's tendency to binge eat in response to these stressors.
No, but here in you got a little bit of a dilemma here. We got a crisis ourselves. Allow me to introduce myself. Gus Polinski, poet. Polka King of the Midwest.
John Candy's death from a fatal heart attack on March 4th, 1994, left a huge hole in the hearts of his fans, friends, and family. He was a truly unique talent. Number 18, Corey Haim. The legacy of Corey Haim shouldn't solely be as a cautionary tale for child actors, but it's also important to recognize how early success was detrimental to the young man's life. Haim was a great actor who perhaps never got to achieve his full potential despite standout performances in The Lost Boys, Lucas, and Silver Bullet.
This is for the good guys.
Corey was in and out of rehab over a dozen times throughout his life and had a contentious relationship with his frequent partner in cinematic crime, Corey Feldman.
Get on. I'll drive you home. No way, man. Look, I have a driver's exam to take Saturday. I don't want to get killed. Les, your license is just as important to me as it is to you. Take it easy.
Haim also claimed he was a victim of
Funny.
abuse as a younger actor. Corey died on March 10, 2010, the result of multiple factors, including pneumonia. Number 17, Naya Rivera. There have been a number of high-profile deaths behind the scenes of the Fox series Glee. Naya Rivera was a member of this tragic club, a young actress whose death came as a true shock to her fans. Rivera worked as an actor, musician, and activist over the course of her life, and enjoyed a career that started way back at the tender age of 4. Naya was also a mother, a fact that made her loss all the more tragic. Her body was recovered from Lake Piru, California on July 13, 2020, after drowning 5 days before while swimming with her son.
Naya and her 4-year-old son Josie were alone that fateful day. That apparently made the difference between life and death.
Number 16, Cameron Boyce. Cameron Boyce didn't let epilepsy
so
slow
true.
down his red-hot career as a Disney Channel star. The young actor appeared on shows like Jessie and in the Descendants franchise after cutting his teeth as a child actor on films like the 2008 horror flick Mirrors.
He was in that movie? I remember.
Nothing.
I forgot about.
Okay, well,
I know
Here
that
you go,
movie.
alright.
I've seen it once.
Boyce would continue to work for the Disney brand, taking lead roles on shows like Jake and the Neverland Pirates. Boyce died in his sleep on
Never heard of
July
it,
6, 2019,
honestly.
as a result of a seizure that occurred over the course of the night. He was only 20 years old.
Yeah.
Somewhere between the last text he sent me in the morning, he was gone.
You never know
It's
how
not
long you're
cliche to
gonna
say you
have.
never know.
Number 15, Jane Mansfield. The life of Hollywood bombshell Jane
just sad.
Mansfield was many things, but it was never boring.
I'm so happy. I knew it this time. It just had to be. It had to be true. Oh, Jeff, I'm so happy Thor's died.
The sex symbol of the silver screen was associated with the Church of Satan, did the first nude scene of the modern post-silent film era, and was never far from the headlines or her legions
Hello.
of admirers. Mansfield was also
I got a good
early
angle on
Playboy
that,
playmate,
'cause I'm not
appearing multiple
rewinding.
times throughout the late 1950s and into the 60s.
I'm just going to New York with my secretary to rest in seclusion. Seclusion, is that right?
That's right.
Again, I'm really sorry. This is proving more difficult than I thought.
But it isn't.
Mariska Hargitay's mom was an
When I
icon
filmed my
the
last
result was
video,
tragic in equal measure.
the,
Jane Mansfield was killed on
photos
June
came
29th,
so clearly.
1967, along with her
Although,
driver
maybe
and
that was
attorney,
because I was
after
wearing
the car they
using
were
the
in
back
collided
camera
with a
lens.
tractor trailer. 3 of her children, including
Can I do that
Mariska,
midstream?
were asleep in the back seat and survived with minor injuries.
I can.
Number 14, Jonathan Brandis. It's difficult to know what's going on in someone's life.
That's a
what
little
they're going
better.
through, and how to help. This applies to celebrities just as much as the rest of us, but we as fans rarely
Sorry
have
about
any
that.
insight behind Hollywood
I'm a little
curtains.
slow
Thanks for
sometimes.
painting that picture for us. Listen, I hate to break up this little seminar, but I gotta go.
Jonathan Brandis was a teen heartthrob, sure, but he was also a talented young actor. His work on television, Sequest DSV, was particularly popular, as was his performance as Bill Denbrough in the 1990 iteration of Stephen King's It.
Killed my brother George, you bastard. Let's see you now. Let's see you now. It's scared of us, you know. I can feel that. I swear to God I can.
Unfortunately, Brandis' career was in something of a slump around the early 2000s, and he descended into heavy drinking. The actor would ultimately take his own life in November 2003. Number 13, Robin Williams. The saying, "this one hurts," doesn't even begin to describe how fans of Robin Williams felt when the comic legend left this world on August 11, 2014. The man's resume speaks for
Wait, I didn't
itself.
realize it was
From
that
his
long
humble
ago.
origins on Mork and Mindy to breakout career-defining roles on Good Will Hunting, Mrs. Doubtfire, The Birdcage, and Jumanji.
You think monkeys, mosquitoes, and lions are bad? That's just the beginning. I've seen things you've only seen in your nightmares.
Elsewhere, Williams' stand-up work and his voice acting on classics like Aladdin endeared him to more fans around the world. When is gone, his legacy lives forever, and his work continues to entertain and influence millions around the world. Number 12, Anton Yelchin. To discuss the loss of Anton Yelchin is to mourn what might have been. This is because the career of this promising actor seemed to be just hitting its stride before it was horribly cut short by a tragic accident.
Put this beer down.
Yelchin had earned rave reviews for his ability to vacillate between blockbuster features like the Star Trek reboots.
Wish I could put
and
my dresser
darker indie
closer.
fare such as 2015's nail-biting thriller Green Room.
We would rather wait for the police. He's on. But he's gonna wait too.
Anton could seemingly do it all, and fans can only wonder what the actor might have achieved on future projects. Yelchin was tragically crushed by his Jeep Grand Cherokee on June 19, 2016, while checking his mail.
Police tell ABC News Yelchin got out of his 2015 Jeep Grand Cherokee while pulling out of his steep driveway, the vehicle apparently rolling back, fatally pinning him against this gate.
A wrongful death lawsuit was filed against Fiat Chrysler by Anton's parents after his death, and was settled out of court. Number 11. Brittany Murphy. Brittany Murphy had a lot going for her before her untimely death on December 20th, 2009. She had broken out with some varied and engaging work after first making a name for herself with the 90s teen flick Clueless.
You don't think that we mesh well. I was like, why am I even listening to begin with? You're a virgin who can't drive.
Murphy proved she could handle dramas like Girl Interrupted and 8 Mile. She also shined in horror films and thrillers like Cherry Falls and Don't Say a Word. The actress even managed to escape the world of rom-coms unscathed with Just Married, proving her versatility and dedication to her craft. Her death was shrouded in controversy, however, with disputes as to the actual nature of her demise contrasting the official record of pneumonia. Number 10. Paul Walker. The Fast and Furious franchise may have continued on after the untimely death of its star Paul Walker, but it never forgot the legacy Walker lent to those early entries.
Brian Earl Spillman. Sounds like a serial killer name. Is that what you are?
No, man.
Sounds like a fake name.
Hey man, you know this is bullshit.
Walker's movie star good looks belied an acting talent that worked well within big-budget action movie parameters. The man's presence loomed large not only in the Fast and Furious movies, but also in more underrated roles, such as Walker's work in the 2006 film Running Scared.
Alright, Nick, listen to me. I want you to think really hard about where your friend might be right now, because the others are looking for him. And if they find him first,
We'll find the gun.
What did you say?
Sadly, the world never got to see what Paul Walker might have done on future projects, as the actor was involved in a fatal car accident on November 30th, 2013. Number 9. Sharon Tate. It's unfair to associate the legacy of Sharon Tate solely with that of the Manson family. This is not only due to the horrible crimes with which Manson and his gang were associated, but also Tate herself, who shone on the silver screen like the brightest burning star.
I'm not disturbing you, am I?
Not at all, not at all.
I just don't know what to do with myself. I get so bored. You can't imagine how bored I get.
The actress's beauty was undeniable, but it didn't define her, and Sharon Tate was equally adept at comedy, as well as performances that required her to do her own stunts. She even trained with the legendary Bruce Lee while working on the spy picture The Wrecking Crew.
I'm grabbing the controller. Pardon the grandpa noises.
I'm Freya. Welcome to Denmark, Mr. Helm.
You always greet people like this?
Sharon Tate may not have been able to achieve her full acting potential, but she'll always be remembered as an icon. Number 8. Marilyn Monroe. The level of talent present within Marilyn Monroe could actually be compared to that of Sharon Tate, since both actresses employed great comedic timing to offset their striking beauty. Monroe's legacy today as a Hollywood icon is secure thanks to her legions of fans around the world.
Gotta get a tripod one of these days.
There isn't any other song.
Still, it's the mysterious circumstances of her death and the pain of knowing what might have been that still haunt many of those same people. We'll never know whether or not Marilyn Monroe would have broken through even further from the movie parts that went on to define her career, such as Some Like It Hot and The 7-Year Itch.
Oh, do you feel the breeze from the subway? Isn't it delicious?
Oh, that's where that's from. I've always wondered
Remains one of the most contested
where that little gag came from.
of all time. Dean. James Dean may be young and handsome forever, but this doesn't mean that his fans don't wish that the Hollywood legend could have achieved more throughout his too brief career.
You forgave him because you threw a ring of his worth $3,000 into the river. That's right. And you forgave him? That's right.
Dean was the epitome of teenage cool, a spirit of rebellion, and the refusal to compromise. For many, his role as Jim Stark in 1955's Rebel Without a Cause was a definitive one, a film that offered a more nuanced portrayal of teenage life.
Every time you can't face yourself, you blame it on me. That is not true. You say it's because of me, you say it's because of the neighborhood. No, you use every other phony excuse. Mom, I want to do something right.
Dean didn't need to fall back on his rugged good looks to overcompensate for any lack of acting ability, as the Academy Award-nominated thespian was able to emote with the best of his contemporaries. His car accident on September 30th, 1955, at only 24 years of age, robbed us of one of Hollywood's most promising talents. Number 6. Judith Barcy. You may not remember Judith Barcy's Hollywood headshots, but the odds are fairly good that you'll recall her voice, especially if you grew up in the 80s.
Stay with me.
Oh, I've heard of this one. It's so tragic.
My name is Anne-Marie.
Yeah, sure.
This is because Barcy worked on two of the decade's more successful animated children's features, All Dogs Go to Heaven and The Land Before Time.
Hello. I said hello. What is your name?
It's always so much harder when it's a child actor.
I cannot talk yet.
Barcy started acting when she was young and never looked back, appearing on television and earning small roles in movies like Jaws: The Revenge. Her home life was tragically fraught with mistreatment at the hands of her father, however, and it was this trauma that ultimately led to the demise of Barcy and both her parents in 1988. Number 5. Bruce Lee. The career of Bruce Lee was poised to explode with commercial crossover success in 1973, thanks to the lightning rod that was his film Enter the Dragon.
He died in actually a pretty unique way, too.
Sadly, Lee wouldn't live to witness just how much the world would embrace martial arts cinema in the wake of all his hard work, as the icon died of a cerebral edema on July 20th of that year. His son Brandon would pass under equally tragic circumstances,
Which basically means he
while
died
following
while
in his
meditating.
father's footsteps. Lee's son died filming The Crow in 1993 due to human error and negligence with a prop gun.
Are you some kind of ghost?
Both Lees departed this world far too soon, but their fans will never forget the gifts
cracked
Bruce
my neck.
and Brandon left behind. Number 4. River Phoenix.
Well, the
River
muscles in my
Phoenix
neck.
seemingly had it all. Skill, charisma, good looks, and the will to make it as a star in Hollywood.
It's like God gave you something, man. All those stories that you can make up. And he said, this is what we got for you, kid. Try not to lose it. The kids lose everything unless there's someone there to look out for them.
The young actor and musician shined in breakout roles for films like Stand By Me and My Own Private Idaho. And who knows where River would have flowed were it not for the tragic events of Halloween night 1993.
I could love someone even if I wasn't paid for it. I love you and don't pay me.
Phoenix was at the Viper Room, a popular and trendy LA nightclub that hosted some of Hollywood's hottest young talent. River was supposed to perform in a band alongside friends Flea and actor Johnny Depp when he complained of feeling unwell. Phoenix ultimately passed away from a speedball overdose, a deadly mixture of cocaine and heroin. Number 3. Heather O'Rourke. It's always horrible to
You
hear
had to
about
know
the
she
passing
was
of a
gonna
child actor.
appear in here
Never
somewhere.
mind one as beloved as Heather O'Rourke.
Honestly, there's so many top 10, 20 videos with this subject, it's kind of hard to come up with unique names for each video.
They're here.
The charming young actress rose to prominence on the heels of a career-defining performance as Carol Ann in the Poltergeist franchise. But O'Rourke also earned praise for her work on sitcoms like Happy Days and Webster.
Webster, do you know what embarrass means? Of course I do. I wasn't born under a rock.
O'Rourke fell ill with intestinal issues in
You know what?
1987 after contracting giardiasis from infected well water at her home. This, combined with her diagnosed Crohn's disease, led to the actress fatally succumbing to congenital stenosis and septic shock on January 31st, 1988. Heather O'Rourke was only 12 years old. Number 2. Chadwick Boseman. It wasn't only fans of the
too
MCU
true.
that mourned the passing of Chadwick Boseman
Wakanda
in
forever.
2020. This is because the actor wasn't remembered only for his role as Wakanda's ruler Black Panther, but for the entirety of his 2 short filmography.
Don't change. Did I say change the part? What's wrong? You lost your soul? You lost your feeling? No, sir. I lost no feeling.
Boseman was a true talent, and it seemed that the sky was the limit for what was
I love his
almost sure to be a
accent.
thriving and varied career. Boseman could handle intense roles in both drama and action with ease, bringing the same charisma to the screen that he brought with Black Panther.
My king.
Stop it. Stop it.
Fans were excited to see what was on the horizon. Sadly, his 4-year fight with colon cancer came to an end on August 28, 2020. Before we name our number 1 pick, here are some much-missed honorable mentions. John Ritter, a master of physical comedy. Natalie Wood, a sudden and mysterious death.
Empty your hand.
Ooh, how ominous.
Rebecca Schaefer. Her loss led to legislation targeting celebrity stalking.
I feel myself changing already. I know now. My whole life has been a preparation for this journey.
Corey Monteith. A promising career cut short.
Waiting down the boulevard, their shadows searching in the night.
Dana Plato. A sad ending to a troubled life.
Hi there. Hi. Hi, Metal Mouse.
Oh, rude.
We just met and already he's insulting me like a real brother.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel
Oh, brother.
and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Nah,
You'll
subscribe
have
to
the
my
option to be
channel.
notified for occasional videos
Wanna
or
see
all
another
of them.
chill stream.
If you're on your phone, make
I
sure
promise
you go
it'll
to
be
your
in a better
settings and
format.
switch on notifications. Number 1, Heath Ledger. There was even more to Heath Ledger than his
He's
iconic
dead?
portrayal of the Joker in Christopher
How have I not
Nolan's
heard
The
about
Dark Knight.
this?
There's no going back. You've changed things. Forever. And why do you want to kill me? I don't want to kill you.
I just want to drive you mad.
The talented Aussie actor had already turned heads, with star-making performances in films like A Knight's Tale, Ned Kelly, and Brokeback Mountain, with the Joker seemingly serving as just another step in Ledger's impressive evolution as an actor. Ledger dealt with his own personal demons, however, including insomnia, and it wasn't long before substance abuse disorder became an issue in the young man's life. Heath Ledger died on January 22, 2008, as a result of an acute combined drug intoxication of prescription medication.
You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from Watch Mojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.
That's gonna... Yep, sorry, I'm not watching those. I should have realized hitting the back button would take me back there. Actually, yeah, actually, you know what? When was my last live stream? Let me see how far down I need to scroll. Ah, here we go. 5 months ago. Huh. Interesting. Found some pretty interesting videos here.
With their red carpets, award shows, and Hollywood
Animals
parties,
that look
it's
like
easy to forget
celebrities.
that A-list celebrities are just like the rest of us, a bunch of filthy animals. So today we're going to bring the stars back down to earth, exploring the moments where Hollywood and the animal
that's
kingdom
uncanny.
overlap. By taking a look at a pack of doggy doppelgangers, feline fraudsters, and ferocious furry figures that look just like celebrities. If you name yourself after an animal, people are bound to draw comparisons. Unfortunately for Snoop Dogg, his relation to man's best frizzle goes beyond his rap name. This little dachshund might not be a beagle, but it's definitely Snoopy. The braids and chain on its Halloween costume making it look exactly like the Californian rapper. This isn't the only D-O-single-G that's been likened to Snoop. Kermit is an Italian greyhound owned by YouTuber Jenna Marbles, whose little smile and skinny face is instantly familiar. And although Kermit swaps bars for barks and gin and juice for dog food, his similarities to the rapper are undeniable. Faux kibble. Hollywood heartthrob Taylor Lautner used to be famous for long hair, big muscles, and spontaneously exploding out of his pants every time he got angry. Turning into a wolf fit Lautner's image pretty well, but it turns out a different, less intimidating animal may have been more suitable. This
You do
alpaca
hear
is
it,
called
right?
Calendar Girl.
That's
While she
funny.
might not seem like heartthrob material, this duo of dreamboats have very similar smoldering gazes.
So
and
true.
I've heard that the alpaca has a set of washboard abs underneath all that fur. So let's settle this. Are you Team Edward, Jacob, or Calendar Girl?
I'm not answering that.
Below. Pop star Ed Sheeran is famous for hit songs and ginger hair. So whenever a carrot-topped animal comes along, people on the internet are bound to draw comparisons. This kitten is the
Aw,
hissing
look
image
at
of the
those
singer,
blue
from the
eyes.
eyes to the ginger fringe. And you can just imagine his
so
little
adorable.
paws strumming on a Fender
I love
Cato
cats.
Blaster. From the
Kids
top
can
of the
tell.
pops now to the bottom of a swamp.
Just one of the cutest
netizens have
animals
pointed
ever.
out how closely superstar Madonna resembles this bullfrog. This amphibian may swap
Jesus
rhythm for rivets, but
It is
certainly
uncanny.
has
You
no
gotta
such
love that.
and the pair's leggy poses are nearly identical.
Oh, too
Let's head out
identical.
of the swamp and clean ourselves off. There's nothing sadder than a dog in a bath. And when this poor pooch was placed inside the tub, he pulled an Oscar-worthy frown.
Well,
Perfect
I disagree.
in the face of award-winning actor
A dog in a
Samuel
grave
L.
is even
Jackson.
sadder.
This dog isn't the only pup that looks like Sam Jackson, though. Imager user Owen Max Sarai thought that his distinguished dog shared a close resemblance to the actor, and when he photoshopped a pair of glasses and hat onto his pooch, the resemblance was uncanny. Jackson has feline family members too, and this cat's long face and terrifying stare have also been compared to the actor. I wouldn't mess with either of them. Let's stick to the silver screen, taking a look at another leading man. In 2015, South Australia's Dog Rescue uploaded a picture of an American bulldog with the dazzling blue eyes of a movie star and the distinctive face of John Travolta. The resemblance between Boof the bulldog and John the human was uncanny, and the dog's headshot went viral within a few hours. According to SA Dog Rescue, this doggy Zuko's unique appearance meant that he was adopted by a loving family almost immediately. Either that or he was taken in by L. Ron Pupper in the Church of Scientology, just like the real Travolta. Also among the Hollywood Hills, Bruce Willis is a macho action hero who's known for crawling through vents on Christmas, riding choppers, and delivering M. Night Shyamalan's most famous twist.
I see dog people.
Turns out, he was a dog the whole time. Bruce's spirit animal isn't a bald eagle, and although he played a boxer in Pulp Fiction, he looks a lot more like a bull terrier. According to
I
many
don't
sharing
see
their
it.
thoughts online, the actor's bald head and long face closely resembles the animal, and the powerful but loyal bull terrier is the perfect canine to take up the mantle as an action star.
Still don't
So
see
with
it.
Samuel L. Jackson, Boof Travolta, and Bull Willis, we have most of the cast for an All Dogs Pulp Fiction remake. Somebody get Frogton Tarantino on the line. Pulp Fiction is gonna be a hit. It's widely accepted that American painter Bob Ross is one of the most wholesome celebrities of all time. So it makes sense that his animal doppelganger would be man's best friend, the dog. This is at Pooch of
A
NYC,
dog.
a Maltese poodle mix who's famous for the themed photo shoots and cosplays that its owner uploads on Instagram. The Maltipoo's beard and afro combo is instantly familiar, and although it looks like he'd rather run through the woods than paint them, the pup looks right at home with a paintbrush in his paw. The Maltipoo definitely has
He looks
Bob's
like a
hair
little
down to
furry
a T,
Chewbacca.
But the painter was arguably just as famous for his calm, supportive personality, so this dog mimics perfectly. This dog's disconcertingly human smile has been compared to Ross's calm temperament, but the personable pup has also been likened to a ton of other smiley celebrities, from Seth Rogen to Jeff Daniels. Bob Ross famously said,
We don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents.
Try saying that when Fido has a happy little accident on your living room floor and looks at you with that face. From one pup person hybrid to another, images of this dog
man,
started
I
to
do
circulate
see
online
it.
back in 2018. The dog's round eyes and pink mouth make it
I
look a lot like a
swear,
human. And
at
netizens
first
reckon
glance,
he's
I
the
thought that
spitting
was
image of actors
edited
Jonah
in.
Hill and Zach Galifianakis. It looks
Using
like Zach's
filters.
hairstylist has used the dog's ears for inspiration, and the pup's fluffy chin certainly matches the bearded actors. However, some people online are freaked out by the dog's human qualities, believing that it'd be more at home in a horror film than a comedy. Speaking of horror, Kiss is an American rock band from the 70s who were famous for their horror-themed performances, painting their faces, putting on sparkly outfits, and sticking their unusually long tongues out while on stage. When you think of Kiss's extravagant stage personas, a dairy farm isn't the first thing that springs to mind. But in 2017, a rancher in Texas discovered the newest member of Kiss's fan club.
Oh, goodness.
With the band's iconic face paint.
Oh, that's too
The cat
good.
was called Jeannie, named after Kiss's lead singer Gene Simmons, and the count is clearly a natural-born performer, sticking his tongue out for the photo. If you stuck Jeannie in a sparkly jumpsuit, he'd look right at home on stage. And maybe Kiss's next reunion could have a new member. I hear he's great on cowbell. From the dairy farm to the Oval Office, this photo looks like Donald Trump's hair has jumped off of his head, dropped to the ground, and crawled its way to the Amazon rainforest.
Oh, gosh.
Luckily for Donnie, his hairpiece is still intact, and this ball of hair is actually a flannel moth caterpillar, a critter from the Americas
Figures.
that's covered in a set of venomous spines.
I mean, that tracks.
As soon as the caterpillar was spotted in the Peruvian rainforest, onlookers compared its appearance to the ex-president. And if you slipped the critter on a bald man's head, you could easily pass for the prez. Unfortunately, the venomous spines would result in some nasty stings if it was worn as a toupee. That's why the owners of this cat went for an alternative method, creating a strategic hairpiece out of their kitten's own fur, as they dressed him up as Trump for Halloween. Adorable or highly disturbing? You be the judge. Speaking of famous
A little
haircuts, with his
disturbing.
signature long, wavy hairdo,
But a little
I'm
both.
sure that British billionaire Richard Branson would like to be compared to a powerful lion, or a majestic stallion riding across the plains. Unfortunately,
I'd
though,
wanna be
he looks a lot more
compared to
like
that.
this little guy. Nobody knows for sure what breed of dog this is, although people online reckon
Huh?
it might be a Pekingese, a
What
Shih
the
Tzu, and
cousin's
Maltese
fucking
mix,
shit?
or just a straight-up gremlin. Either way, this pup's silky head of hair and wide-spaced blue-eyed stare make it the canine
Oh my
twin
god,
of
I
the
thought that person's
And
hand
I'm
was,
taking that into
until this
business
moment, I thought that
Dogs are
person's hand
arguably
was
the
the
happiest creatures
dog's
on Earth.
neck.
So for a billionaire dog, life must be one big walk in the park. Unfortunately for
bad.
some pups, the world isn't all about squeaky toys and chasing tails. When the poop bag hits the fan, you'll want these cold-blooded canines by your side, because the internet
Ooh.
reckons that they look just like veteran Hollywood tough guy Clint Eastwood. These dogs all come from different breeds,
I
but
see
they've
it.
all got a touch of Dirty Harry, squinting, pouting, and grimacing at the camera, just like the man himself. If you want to find out whether these dogs are all bark and no bite, you can meet them at the dog park at high noon and answer this one question. Do you feel lucky? Well,
Punk.
do you, pup? Actor Danny DeVito's career has been littered with references to birds. His breakout role was as Martini in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He played a comic book villain, the Penguin, in Batman Returns, and he plays the egg-obsessed father of a giant bird in sitcom It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Can I offer you a nice egg in this trying time?
Well, finally, this long-running theme has an explanation. Ornithologists would say that this is a royal tern, a small coastal bird that can be found across the Americas. However, DeVito's fans know better, and this is clearly the man himself, the bird's distinctive hairline giving its identity away immediately. The tern's receding plumage is very unique, but interestingly, the bird's bald patch is filled in during mating season, as its breeding plumage covers its entire head in dark feathers to let other terns know that they're ready to mate. Remind you of anyone? Okay, fine. So the royal tern might not actually be Danny DeVito, but the actor's similarities to the seabird are undeniable. And when you place a beak on Danny DeVito, The resemblance is uncanny. Speaking of beaks, this big-nosed cat is an oriental short-haired tabby called Corey, who was rescued by the Monmouth County Animal Shelter in New Jersey. I'm sure Corey's a sweet cat, but unfortunately some people reckon he looks more like a Sith Lord, comparing the kitty's ears and nose to Kylo Ren actor Adam Driver.
He's got big ears.
I have to admit there is
I never knew.
The force is strong with this one. From sci-fi villains to a real-life hero, Wilford Brimley was an American actor best known for The Thing, Quaker Oats commercials, and his long-standing battle with diabetes. Or as he would put it,
Diabetes.
Brimley worked on several commercials with the American Diabetes Foundation, devoting his life to educating the public about
Diabetes.
And although he
You think you're
tragically
fucking
passed away in
tough?
2020,
I'll
his
show you
spirit lives
tough,
on
brother.
in some furry friends. Their round faces and thick mustaches are the spitting image of the late actor, and every time their photos appear online, we're reminded of Wilford's career and, of course, the unique way that he'd pronounce
Diabetes.
People suffering with diabetes have to be incredibly careful about what they eat, but even they aren't as picky as celebrity chef Gordon Ramsay. Ramsay likes to put on a tough exterior, but after taking one quick look at this photo, it's clear to see that he's really just a big puppy dog. This breed of dog is called a Shar-Pei, and the deep wrinkles on the dog's face make it look uncannily like the chef. That being said, if you serve Gordon Ramsay a plate of kibble, you're in for a rough time. From wrinkles to raw talent now, actress Tilda Swinton is a very serious performer. She's won every award under the sun, and she loves to play the villain. Despite this, back in 2021, Twitter
she
user
was in
Joaquin
Narnia?
Campa pointed out that Tilda shares a striking resemblance to a decidedly less serious creature, namely this tiny little chihuahua. Tilda Swinton's long face and big eyes closely resemble the actress's, and his solemn expression looks like he's ready to handle any dramatic role thrown at him. Jack Black is an actor who takes himself a bit less seriously than Tilda. Jack's played a few animals over the course of his career, providing the voices for a shark, a saber-toothed tiger, and most famously,
Oh,
the
he
Kung
was
Fu
in
Panda.
Ice Age?
Unfortunately, the actor's never played the animal that he most closely resembles. This cat. With the wild-eyed, cheeky grin that made Jack famous, you can definitely see this kitty leading a rock band
That
full
is
of kids,
good.
dressing up as a professional wrestler, or having a rock-off against the devil. Jack showed Beelzebub, who was boss in Tenacious D, the pick of destiny, but I wonder how he'd fare against the demon of screaming himself, Aerosmith's frontman Steven Tyler. Tyler's long, streaky hair makes him easily recognizable, but for one Twitter user, her dog's long, streaky ears provided the exact same effect. Tyler has a reputation as a wild man, but it turns out the rock
Just
star
give me a
is
kiss.
just a domesticated puppy. According to the
look at
dog's
those
owner,
big
ever since a
eyes.
friend pointed out how closely her pup resembles the singer, she hasn't been able to look at her pooch in the same way. Now, Tyler and the dog's streaky haircuts are pretty distinctive, but they're dull compared to this next musician's trim. George Clinton is an American musician in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, best known for pioneering funk music, working with Kendrick Lamar, and his insane multicolored hairdo. This colorful caterpillar is the caterpillar form of the Saturniety moth, and looks just like Clinton. But while Clinton's hair says, "I'm just a funk-loving legend," the Saturniety's bright colors have evolved to say, "If you try to eat me, the deadly toxin I produce will probably kill you." Very different vibes indeed. Sticking with weirdness now, actor David Duchovny is best known for playing FBI agent Fox Mulder in 90s hit show The X-Files. Duchovny's character solved a new sci-fi mystery every week, but it turns out Mulder is more of a curious George than a wily fox, because Duchovny looks strikingly like a rhesus monkey. The similarities between Duchovny and the monkey smile and eyes have left fans wondering whether Duchovny is a Hollywood actor or just a monkey in disguise. As Fox Mulder said himself, the truth is out there. But if it's truth we want, there's no one better to separate the facts from fiction than Jamie Hyneman. This bushy-faced man is best known as one of the hosts of Mythbusters, a TV show that aimed to use scientific practice to debunk common myths. Mythbusters ran for 14 years on the Discovery Channel, but there was one myth that the team were never able to quite crack: whether Jamie Hyneman is actually a walrus. The similarities between Jamie and the sea creature are undeniable, largely sourced from Jamie's bushy walrus mustache and flared nostrils. That being said, some Mythbuster fans believe that Hyneman resembles a less blubbery animal. This Persian kitten certainly shares Hyneman's whiskers, and the way that he's done
Oh,
it
just
at the ring
fine.
makes it look like
Thanks
he's
for
ready to
asking, and
bust
yourself?
small myths himself. Aside from debunking myths,
Sorry, I
animal
don't know what
lookalikes
time.
can
I
also
don't know how
help the
long ago
world
you
in
wrote
another
that,
way,
but I just
by ending
noticed.
the long-standing interspecies war and finally bringing dogs and cats together. The solution to this conflict? Ron Perlman's face. Perlman may be known for playing a half-demon in Hellboy, but the actor actually looks exactly like certain cats and dogs. As a matter of fact, the internet is brimming with examples of Perlman's Ron lookalikes. On Reddit, there's a whole page dedicated to cats that look like Ron Perlman, where users share and compare their Perlman pets. Ron's famously deep-set eyes, prominent brow, and imposing jaw have allowed him to transform into a huge number of characters over his career. But
That's
even
true.
when the prosthetics are peeled off, Ron still resembles these household pets. Now that's versatility. Perlman isn't the only actor who's been likened to both cats and dogs. The legendary Steve Buscemi is the star of Reservoir Dogs.
Well, if by just did you mean just subscribed, I do appreciate it.
But this animal lookalike is more interested in boardwalkies. That's right. This Pekingese poodle mix called Choochie was rescued by the Faithful Friends Animal
what's your
Shelter
channel
in
name?
Delaware, and many online viewers insist his
Is it
slightly
Ruin?
crooked stare resembles Buscemi's. The Reservoir Dog immediately went viral after Faithful Friends posted his photo online, and thankfully Choochie was adopted into a family soon after. Choochie isn't the only Buscemi lookalike. Back in 2019, a woman adopted a cat called Marla that she swore looked exactly like the actor.
I'll return the
After
favor
sharing
and look
this
at your
image online,
channel.
Marla went viral. Her Facebook page eventually garnered over 12,000 followers, and as Marla's
I do
fan base
appreciate
grew,
it.
the comments underneath her photos started to spark some intense debate. Lots of people believe that Marla's deformed upper and lower jaws made her look exactly like Buscemi, while others argued that she looked closer to Clint Eastwood or Willem Dafoe. Which of these actors do you think Marla resembles most? Let me know in the comments.
No problem.
From a strange animal to a very strange human. British comic legend Rowan Atkinson's character Mr. Bean isn't exactly known for being wise. Even so, online commenters insist the dim-witted character's wide eyes, raised eyebrows, and pointy ears still make him look remarkably like an owl. Unlike owls, though, Mr. Bean can't spin his head all the way around. But this next celebrity certainly has his head on a swivel. A quarterback who's arguably the best NFL passer of all time. Star quarterback Peyton Manning only ever played for horse-themed teams, throwing the pigskin for the Indianapolis Colts and the Denver Broncos. However, the retired football player is more of a puppy than a pony, channeling this frustrated dachshund dog throughout his career. The quarterback's frown and forehead look just like Peyton after an incomplete pass, and I imagine that's the face that Manning's dog pulls while playing fetch, realizing how far he has to run to retrieve that
Interesting.
stick. Unlike Peyton Manning, actor Michael Cera isn't exactly known for his athletic prowess. However, becoming a famous actor takes talent, dedication, and a lot of hard work, so it's fair to say that the star probably isn't lazy. Unfortunately for Cera, that doesn't stop him from looking exactly like the world's laziest animal, the sloth. Cera's eyes and smile are definitely very sloth-like, and the actor's occasional hairstyle perfectly mimics the shape of a sloth's head. Although the baby-faced actor isn't known for his ability to grow facial hair, if you look past the sloth's furry face, they could be brothers. Speaking of cross-species siblings, William H. Macy is an Emmy Award-winning actor known for his role alongside the aforementioned Steve Buscemi in Fargo and playing Frank Gallagher in the hit TV show Shameless. A little-known fact about the actor, the H in his middle name actually stands for hound. Okay,
Really?
I made that up. It stands for Hall. But you can't deny
That would
the
be a
star
funny
looks
coincidence
exactly
if it
like
was.
this funny-looking dog. Even Macy recognizes the similarities, and when he was shown a picture of the dog in an interview, he said that the likeness makes sense, and he's always farting like a golden retriever. Calling somebody's pet funny isn't necessarily nice, but this Redditor's dog looks absolutely hilarious, largely due to
Is
its
it?
resemblance to famous
I
comedian
never thought of it
Gilbert
as being
Gottfried.
mean.
The Chihuahua looks just like the
Oh
funny
my
man,
goodness.
right down to its little teeth.
That
Now
is
that the real
pretty
Godfrey
uncanny.
has sadly left this mortal coil, we have even more reason to
What?
cherish
Gilbert's
this
dead?
little pooch.
How come I never heard of
If the
that?
pup did perform at the comedy club,
That's sad.
I know who'd be sitting in the front
Would
row.
have liked to meet him.
No celebrity loves a laugh in a more epic manner than actress Sofia Vergara, which leaves her with a certain similarity to an unexpected animal.
That's okay.
Now, unlike the refined and classy Sophia, African
That's
wild
life.
dogs aren't the most
Oh
glamorous
my
animals in the
goodness.
world, spending their time hunting prey, fighting hyenas, and rolling around in the sub-Saharan dust. And indeed, it's
Yep,
fair to
watch
say that
Mojo.
Vergara doesn't look anything like these animals. That is
clearly.
until somebody cracks a joke. That's when her wide-mouthed cackle turns her
Jay!
into straight out of the sub-Sahara, like a
Feel.
wild dog fighting off its enemies. Of course, it goes without saying that Vergara is anything but a dog. All I'm saying is, don't get between her and her prey. Moving to Moscow now, Vladimir Putin is known for ruthlessly ruling Russia, topless horse riding, and licking his own. Hang on, I'm mixing him up with this guy. Putin isn't exactly known as a good boy, so it's surprising that his body double is man's best friend, the goodest of boys, a dog. From the Kremlin to the Kennel Club, this presidential pooch is a mix between a Staffordshire Terrier and a German Shepherd, and its long face and calculated stare are the spitting image of Russia's leader. While I'm sure this pup would rather go for a walk than commit unspeakable acts of international
Mother
aggression,
Russia.
its death stare is still pretty intimidating. Let's keep things along the lines of cuddly communism now with this little cat. He appears to want to overthrow the upper classes and seize the means of production, because he looks just like Russian communist leader Vladimir Lenin. This cat wants Purina for all, and I wonder if he ever goes hunting for mice.
As a matter of fact, I am. History was my favorite subject in high school.
I doubt it. Lenin cat might fly the hammer and kibble flag, but cats aren't exactly known for sharing their food. If you thought those historical figure pets had unfortunate appearances, how about these cats, whose 9 lives are likely spent coughing up Führer balls and leading to furred
I
rice?
don't really do much
all
reading,
donning
but
a certain evil dictator's infamous mustache and
I
sack
do
party.
enjoy history
Little Hitlers
documentaries.
look just about ready to invade Poland. However, if any of those unlucky kittens want to change their unfortunate appearance, a wig might be their best bet. And I know just the woman to call.
It's just
Popstar
sad
Cher is a prolific wig wearer.
that
and
certain
stated in
styles
interviews that all of her wigs and outfits represent
of
different
hair
versions of
are
herself.
completely
And as it
tainted by
turns out,
historical
one of the many versions
figures.
of Cher is an Afghan hound. The pair share the same long face and wistful stare, but unlike Cher, the hound's platinum hairdo is all natural. Only question is, who wore it better? So that about wraps up our list of animals that look like celebrities. Which copycat critter did you think was the...
Starting off this countdown, we have Heaven's Gate. Found in 1974
Most
and led
amazing
by Bonnie
top
Nettles
tens.
and Marshall Applewhite, the Heaven's Gate cult believed in UFOs and impending doom. They convinced their followers that the only way
Wait, this
they
is
could
a
escape
marathon,
this
I just
was by
noticed.
taking their own lives.
The fact that
By
they
doing this,
completely
believed that
skipped
they
the
would reach
intro
the
gave
next
it away.
level and help evolution on other planets. And according to them, Jesus was an extraterrestrial. And when he died, his body rose from
Speaking
the dead
of history
before
videos.
being carried away by a spaceship. Interesting, I know. In 1997, 39 members took their lives, and they were all found wearing arm patches that read, "Heaven's Gate Awaiting." Moving on to number 9, we have the Church Universal and Triumphant. The Church Universal and Triumphant was founded in 1975. It was run by a woman named Elizabeth Clare Prophet. She made her followers believe that she was a channel for God. Apparently, God told her that the world was going to end. So she moved her church compound near Yellowstone National Park for safety reasons. She said that the end of the world would come in 1990 after a nuclear war between the US and Russia. When that didn't happen, a lot of members left the cult. Slowly over time, the cult just dissolved. In our 8th spot, we have William Miller.
Yeah.
William Miller was an American Baptist preacher as well as the founder of Adventism. He was known for preaching about the end of the world, which he prophesied would be in 1844.
Yeah,
he
that's
thought
true.
the end would come as a purifying apocalypse, so the world would be cleansed of sinners. Miller and his followers, the Millerites, believed that there would be a fire in which saints would be resurrected and they would cleanse the world of this evil. When this didn't happen, he lost his loyal followers. In fact, the day in which the world didn't end is now referred to as the Great Disappointment. In our 7th spot, we have Jim Jones. Jim Jones is known as one of the most famous cult leaders in the world. He was the founder and leader of the People's Temple, which he ran in an isolated area in the Guyanese jungle. He convinced his followers that the government was coming for him and that they were going to start a thermonuclear war. In fact, he believed that on July 15th, 1967, a nuclear attack was going to happen. Alas, it didn't. Anyways, in 1978, he convinced his followers to take their lives. He described this to be a revolutionary act. So on November 18th, his cult leaders drank cyanide-laced punch, Some of them drank it willingly, while others had it forced upon them. In the end, 909 people lost their lives. It was said to be one of the most harrowing tragedies in American history. Coming in at number 6, we have the Branch Davidians. This cult was originally founded in 1929 by a man named Victor T. Houghton, and they were a spin-off of the Seventh-day Adventists. Then in 1955, Ben Roden organized the Branch Davidians. Later, the cult was controlled by David Koresh. He believed that the end was near. He believed in the several seals from the Bible's book of Revelation. He believed that when the seals were opened, that marked the second coming of Christ and the start of the apocalypse. So David and his cult were preparing for the apocalypse. He claimed that he could speak to God, and that's what God told him to do, to prepare. But things ended badly in 1993 when the FBI and military stormed the cult's base. They had believed that the group was stockpiling illegal weapons, so they conducted a raid. This led to a deadly
only 18
shootout
minutes?
and
Not
ended
bad.
with their building going up in flames. This resulted in the death of 76 cult members. We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with the Russian Doomsday Cult. The Russian Doomsday Cult was founded by a man named Pyotr Kuznetsov. He believed that the end of the world was going to happen in 2008. So in 2007, he gathered the 30 members of his group and sent them to a shelter in a cave. He instructed them to wait there until the end of the world. Of course, Pyotr didn't accompany them. After 6 months in the cave, 14 members decided to come out. Sadly, 2 passed away in this cave. 9 members decided to stay a bit longer, but then later came out. In fact, the members were instructed to take their own lives if the authorities tried to intervene. Thankfully, when the police did come to the rescue, they didn't do that. As for Pyotr, well, he tried to take his own life when his doomsday prediction didn't come true. He then was sent to a psychiatric facility. In our 4th spot, we have the Family. Otherwise known as the Great White Brotherhood, this was an Australian New Age group led by a woman named Anne Hamilton. She convinced her followers that she was the reincarnation of Jesus. She also said that Buddha and Krishna were other spiritual beings that came down to help humanity. And of course, they all believed that the end was near. The cult lived away together in the countryside outside of Melbourne. The kids were instructed to never talk to outside people. They were all homeschooled. Those that didn't listen were punished through beatings, starvation, or emotional torture.
People always saying the world's gonna end when.
With hallucinogenics. In the end, the police raided the cult.
The next predicted time of the world ending is 2025.
And the other women helping her were then criminally charged. And a number of cult members actually sued her for psychiatric and psychological illness, among other things. It said that she paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to her victims. Moving on to number 3, we have Box Canyon Cult. Located in Southern California, Box Canyon was the perfect rocky hideaway for a doomsday cult. It all started when a man who went by the name of Krishna Venta claimed that he was the second coming of Christ and was over 240,000 years old. In 1948,
West
he bought
1K.
25 acres of land in Box Canyon to build a monastery
I just got the
and several
notification.
rooms for
Is
his
that you?
followers to stay in. In the monastery, Venta would preach about the impending World War III, which would spark the end of the world. He said that World War III was their chance to take back the world, but they were never able to see their plan through. In 1958, 2 men whose wives joined the cult decided to bomb it. The blast killed them, Venta, and 7 of the followers.
Are you asking me to react to it on Mother's Day, or the name of the video is Mother's Day?
We have the Order of the Solar Temple. This cult was formed in 1984 by Joseph DiMambro and Luke Jure. It started off its teachings based on New Age
after the video,
spiritualism,
promise.
but they realized that they got more followers when they started to become more doomsday focused. And then these followers brought them more money, so they loved that. So they believed that once the end of the world came, they would be transported to another planet and then live there. Now, the history of what went down in this cult is very complex, so I'm just going to do a quick rundown. In the 1990s, authorities started to investigate this group. In 1994, a man and his family were killed after speaking out about the cult. Days later, 2 temple buildings in Switzerland burned to the ground. 48 bodies were found inside. Some were shot, others were injected with tranquilizers and left to perish in the fire. Then in 1995, a building in the Swiss Alps burnt down. 16 bodies were found inside there. Then in 1997, a building in Quebec burnt down. 5 more members died then. In total, 74 cult members passed away. To this day, though, this cult still exists. And in our number 1 spot today,
I haven't seen it, but I bet.
Cult. The Amish Rico cult was founded in 1984 by a man named
My arms keep
Shoko
getting tired
Ashihara.
holding this
Members
thing.
of this cult believe that the
Like
end
I
of the
said, I
world
gotta
was
get a
near.
tripod
The leader
for
predicted
this
that
phone
it would
someday.
occur in 1996 or between 1999 and 2003. But he claimed that the members were going to be the only ones that survived. But in order to become a member, they would have to sign their estates over to the group, which in the end made him incredibly wealthy. In 1995, the cult carried out the deadly Tokyo subway sarin attack, where 13 people died and thousands got injured. Apparently, this was done as an attempt to start the apocalypse, but also to show how strong they were to try and stop the authorities from shutting down their cult. As a result of this attack, 13 members of the group got the death sentence, including the leader. After his death, the name of the cult changed, and to this day, it's still active. It's said that it has about 1,500 active followers.
Number 10, the Freedomites. After the Tsar's persecution in Russia, a group of pacifist, anti-materialist Christians, referred to as spirit warriors, fled the country and came to Canada in the 20th century. While many were happy to just live freely off the land, a section of the group grew unhappy at the Canadians for asking them to attend school and enlist in the military.
Well, I'm not
This group called
religious. I'm
themselves
more
the Sons of Freedom,
agnostic,
or Freedomites, and despite their name,
which means
wanted
I
to
do
impose
believe
their
in
way of
some of the
belief on
things
others. They were most famous
that
for their dislike of materialism
are
and
mentioned
would
in
often show
religious
this by
texts.
protesting in the
Like, for
complete
example,
nude.
I
Many
believe
photos
in
of the group
eternal
of farmers marching in
damnation,
the nude
but
became pretty famous
I
and put
don't
the religion
believe
on the
hell
map.
is
They didn't
directly
simply
below us
protest
like
in the
people
nude, though.
believe.
They took to another more
I
violent
mean-
outlet, arson, burning down many
if
buildings,
there was a such
including
thing as a
homes,
hollow
schools,
Earth, we
courtrooms,
would
and
have
bridges.
sunk.
This
I mean,
led
this
to the
planet would
persecution
not
of the
exist.
entire group, including
Defies
the
all
peaceful
laws of
ones who hadn't
physics.
been involved, and they were
It
pretty
is
much
way more
wiped out
likely
the
in a
country.
completely
Number
different
9,
dimension.
Angel's Landing. Daniel Perez led the Angel's Landing cult for 15 years. They traveled from state to state and had a large commune on Daniel's property near Wichita. Things overall didn't seem too bad for
I
people
personally
looking in,
believe
but suspicions
that
were raised when
when
there were
people
a
talk
number of
about
so-called
God or the
accidental
universe,
deaths, and
they're
Daniel
actually
always
talking
seemed to be
about the
coming
same
into large
thing.
amounts of money. As it turns
They just
out,
don't realize
Daniel Perez
it.
actually
It's all
had
one
been
and the same.
responsible for the deaths that had taken place in the group, and he had been using it as a ploy to collect their life insurance money, collecting millions of dollars over the years. However, he wouldn't be able to get away with it forever when one young member of the group returned to the police to tell her that she had actually lied about one of the deaths being accidental. After he was found responsible and arrested, he was finally put on trial in 2015, being charged with a total of 28 different crimes. Number 8, the Ant Hill Kids. The Ant Hill Kids were in existence for 8 years, and at their peak had a following of only 12 adults and 26 children. Rock Therio created the group when he believed that the world was going to end in 1979, and as with most leaders, gained his followers through his charisma and looks. He moved them to a place in Quebec where they started building a town, working together like a group of ants and coining their name. Over time, the leader became violent due to his excessive drinking and would perform drunken surgeries on the cult members in attempts to prove that he could heal them, but always doing much more harm than good. One of his many wives managed to escape the horrible conditions and went to the police about what had happened, Rock being arrested 6 weeks later. His arrest ended the group and he went away for life in prison, dying in 2011 at the hands of a fellow inmate. Number
Is it
6.
actually? Oh, it's midnight.
In 1958, Synanon was opened in Santa Monica.
Probably
and
gonna
it
have
would
to
be
leave
active
the
there
stream
for
soon,
over 30
but I will
years,
make sure I
having
check out your
1,300
videos
members
before
at
we
its
do.
peak. This group mainly recruited addicts and
I think
took
maybe
many
I'll
different
continue
forms
for
over its
another
lifespan.
hour.
A rehabilitation program, a utopian society, and a church. It was created by Charles Dedrich, and its staples were its focus on quitting cold turkey,
Yeah, that's the thing
tough
with
love,
YouTube
and something
videos.
called The
You
Game,
never run out
where
of
one member of the group
more to
opens up
watch.
and the rest verbally attack them. Hundreds of people eventually moved in and paid to live there. Synanon
Yeah, I
at
see.
one point having around $33 million in assets. But Charles' greed and hunger for power only continued to grow, and the conditions in the place worsened over time, facing accusations of things like abduction and brainwashing. The lawsuit placed and won made Charles so angry that he got his followers to put a venomous snake in the man's mailbox, the man barely surviving. He was eventually arrested, and Synanon Lebanon was shut down for the allegations and for tax fraud. Number 4, Demas Kanjang. Demas Kanjang was able to form a cult fairly easily. The leaders of these types of groups will
but
usually
again, they
try to
were
convince
probably
you of
hearing
something,
it from
whether
another
it be that they are
dimension.
an alien or have magical healing powers. Demas did this by
And it
convincing
only
people
sounded
that he
like
could
it was
pull
coming
money
from
out of
directly
thin
beneath
air.
them.
And the way that he did it is incredibly simple. You can see videos of him demonstrating this online. He simply puts his hands behind his back and then brings them forward with money in them, obviously having just kept the money behind his back. But it was somehow still enough to convince people that he had magic powers, sometimes pulling not just money from the air, but also meatballs and plastic bags of soup. He somehow managed to amass thousands of followers and almost $38 million in donations, even coming from high-ranking members of the military and people in government. When 2 of his followers realized that he was eventually going to run out of money to pull from behind his back, they confronted him, and he responded by having
Yeah, I'm
both
busy
killed.
reading the
He was
chat,
arrested and convicted in 2016
paying less than
and still has another 12
50%
years to
attention
serve.
to the
Number
video.
3, Scientology. The so-called Church of Scientology was developed by L. Ron Hubbard and surrounds the idea that humans have
Tom
trauma
Cruise is
preventing
a
them from
Scientologist
experiencing
now.
life properly, and that they must work towards a spiritual state called clear. Their teaching surrounds a few different truths, some of them being listed as man is an immortal spiritual being. His experience extends well beyond a single lifetime. His capabilities are unlimited, even if not presently realized. They also believe in an alien called Xenu who brought all his buddies to Earth 75 million years ago and blew them up next to a volcano, which, you know, makes sense. You've probably heard about Scientology because of just how many celebrities are connected to it. Its members include people like Tom Cruise, John Travolta, and Kirstie
what'd I say?
Scientology is incredibly controversial, mostly due to the reports of them brainwashing their members and the evidence that the cult had been
that's
created
not
for
so
the
different
express
from all
purpose
cults.
of making money. Number 1, the FLDS. If you've been browsing through Netflix recently, then you've probably seen the limited series called Keep Sweet, Pray, and Obey. The series documents the history of the group
never
called
heard of
the
it.
Fundamentalist
Better check
Church
it out
of Jesus
sometime.
Christ Latter-day Saints, or FLDS for short. It chronicles the series of people who have managed to escape from the group, which broke off from Mormonism in the 1930s after polygamy was outlawed. It was led by ruling Jeffs, but things apparently didn't get too bad until his son, Warren Jeffs, took over, dissipating the council and taking complete control over the group. Many terrible things happened throughout their history, and if you want the full details, feel free to watch the series. I really do recommend it. It included things like psychological blackmail, separating children from their families to be sent to do labor on a supposed utopia in Texas, and more. Things came to a head in a 2008 raid of the compound, and Jeffs went to prison. But the group is still active today, with Jeffs still giving teachings from behind bars.
In our number 8 spot, we have the Children of God. Also known as Teens for Christ, it was founded in 1968 by preacher David Berg in California. It attracted the hippies of the day, as this cult preached the words of Jesus and the Bible, but with more of an open twist to the free love movement of the time. There were horrible ritual acts, such as the one that was called flirty fishing, where women would perform acts of giving themselves in different inappropriate ways to get men into the cult. Mainly everyone in the cult didn't work, and there were about 15,000 members around the world. Allegedly, actors Joaquin Phoenix and Rose McGowan grew up in Children of God communes. Pretty wild. In our number 7 spot, we have
pretty.
the NXIVM cult.
Just noticed.
This is a cult that was run by a guy by the name of Keith Raniere, and he started this cult in 1998. It was alive for 20 years till 2018 when he was sentenced to life in prison. Positioned as a health and wellness organization, within the organization was a dark cult where women were recruited and called slaves, and they would refer to Keith as their master. Anyways, when they were being initiated into the cult, a ritual was performed where Keith would brand these women with his initials in their pelvic area. Each woman was instructed to say, "Master, please brand me, it would be an honor." Well, that's horrifying. Coming up at our number 1 spot, we have whatever cult Angelina Jolie once spoke about. Okay,
So there is a Hollywood cult that Angelina Jolie was once
actually getting
caught on
pretty
camera
late. I better
speaking
lower
about
the
to her
volume.
friends in 1999. The video surfaced online in 2006. The name of the cult was never mentioned.
That's the
but
problem with this
details
TV
of
this
one of the
time of
rituals
year.
that is performed is pretty
Yeah, I
terrifying.
always
We can
have to
imagine
have the
that in
AC
some
on because it
Hollywood
gets really
cults.
hot in
I'm sure
here.
there's a bunch. As she
Problem is the
mentioned
AC
that
is
it's a
really
sort of
loud.
celeb initiation that is
So I
often
usually have to turn up the
misunderstood as a
TV
form of
in
sadism
turn.
and masochism combined. Apparently, Angelina talks about her experience and how during the ritual, the initiated people are tied up and tortured, and acts of inappropriate touching are performed, if you catch my drift. She then talks about how she got a tattoo after the ritual and how she had to kill a snake as a sacrifice. Anyways, I wish I knew what cult this was, but I have no idea, so we're going to continue to call it the cult that Angelina Jolie once spoke about.
Wait, is this the end of the video? Yep. Okay, I'm gonna look it up right now. The videos you just mentioned.
All around.
But I'm gonna need two hands to type in the search. Mother's Day. Music video. It's not coming up. Let me Is that it? Yep, there it is. All right.
My tie, you know what I'm talking about? Ay. Savo. I say, mama.
Yeah, it is a nice start.
I know all my life I probably gave you problems. They shot your house while we was asleep. I woke up.
Hey, I'm not gonna get a copyright claim, right? Yeah, just kidding. It's too late anyway.
Every week when I get free, I take her shopping. I got $100,000 in my closet. If I get killed tonight, just give it to my mama.
Yeah, give it to my mama. Feels good to give it back. When you come from out the bottom, applying all this knowledge. When it comes to my problems, I ain't worried about no beef. So don't tell me about no drama. Really focus on my peace. I'm manifesting hella calm. Spiritual warfare on the beach. I'm healing from all that trauma. So what you read? Best believe that law of karma. Nightmare on Elm Street. We slid, that's on my mama. Ears ringing for a week. But here we can't chat about it. I'm a soldier when I creep. In the streets, I hopped up out them. We lack stability. So hotel rooms we
You're welcome. You've earned it. You've earned the like.
How quick you prosper, now it's gold on my teeth. I smile cause I know they watching, yeah, it's gold on my teeth. I say click when I be flossing. Hey, what case shit, man? Sabo, tell me what it is.
I say, mama, I know I ain't got nowhere to go to college. I know all my life I probably gave you problems.
They shot your house while we was asleep, I woke up poppin'. I made a promise to my mama, I'ma drop it. My mama bought me a chopper, that's how we rollin'. Every week when I get free, I take her shopping. I got $100,000 in my closet. If I get killed tonight, just give it to my mama.
Hey, I can't relate because I'm finna graduate. Several you the proof when you school to succeed and be great. Taken by the state, tears falling, no, I can't see straight for every dark night. Just know that it's a bad day. On my head, this shit is my Saturday. R.I.P. be Cardi, you gained your wings, now fly away. Search for motivation, woke up like I might try today. Hey, I wanna try today. Hey, I'm gonna try today. Asking Dukes about my daddy, where the fuck is he at? Papa nigga took care of me when mom was in that rehab. 2 sets of beds in 1 room, that's where we sleep at. Knowing I'ma be wealthy, I need my pockets to be fat. Stock market's got
I concur.
currency, I need that. Real niggas stay solid, 10 toes in the dirt, I bleed that. Compassion for the ones who hope this positivity, they need that. Spreading
deserve a good life, man.
Girls, I can see that. I say, mama, I know I ain't graduate or go to college. I know all my life I probably gave you problems. They shot your house while we was asleep, I woke up poppin'. I made a promise to my mama, I'ma drop it. My mama bought me a chopper, that's how we rockin'. Every week when I get free, I take her shopping. I got $100,000 in my closet. If I get killed tonight, just give it to my mama.
Just sub, dude. Nice video. Alright, Ruin Brands. Is that how you say it? $309 subs, dude. Doing well for yourself. This is you, right? I'm gonna assume it is. Wait, is it? Yep, alright. Oh. Let's check it out.
Do you want to read a story? It's an untold adventure. A brand new story.
You got the power! I remember that. I remember this movie.
Have you ever pondered the question of what if Optimus Prime was on the crossroads?
I legit cried when Optimus Prime died in the animated movie. I love this.
You can now watch Transformers Rise, the crime road. But you've yet to start. /Ruin. Right. My only question is, will you watch this fascinating new story?
Hmm. 6-minute one. Oh, I guess it's closer to 7 minutes.
The universe belongs to crime, and then the multiverse may fall into my trap. I wait for this crime for longer to reach. They have no idea what I'm planning. I
doing what I'm planning.
The universe will belong. The multiverse will to me. I am the prime Unicron will not exist.
Nice.
Universe, it's my time to shine.
The Autobots are getting closer, Megatron. Give me the cube, boy! You failed me, Starscream. Get them!
As you command, Soundwave. The Herald's army stands no chance against the
Nice.
Devastator.
Impressive. What's the name of this song? It's good.
Soundwave, your petty efforts don't scare me. I turned your leader into that weapon. I'll turn you into your box.
July 16th it was uploaded. Transform and roll out.
Soundwave, Afterburner here. We had finally arrived. Our ship brought us here. As long as it was slow, but still, we have sufficed a device that will
Hold on.
annihilate the Prime Herald, at least in theory.
I'm wondering if you put the song in the
Hold on, Afterburner. Just go Soundwave.
back to top.
Soundwave.
I'll go back and look at it on my PC when I get the chance. Oh yeah, that's true. Sometimes I forget the singer for the guy from Linkin Park died. So tragic.
The interceptors. It is closing. I like your plan. I'm good to go.
Yeah.
This is so much better. I'll fly around. Say bye to your machine, Prime Herald. It was nice to meet you. You just got devastated by the Devastator. We're almost close to the end of this road. Our ship is firing now as we speak. It will end now. We have to win now. This is the only way. All right, ready. Re-energizer. We need it now. Hold your horses Afterburner. This stuff takes time. You can't rush it. Almost ready. Fire! 3, 2, it's now or never. This will take a while. But the Prime Herald will be back to his old self. Prime. He was not completely lost.
Sir, is that truly you, Prime?
Yes, it is truly me, Afterburner. My
You got the
friends, let us
power.
celebrate this temporary peace. Because the battle may be won, but the Prime Herald wars are far from over.
Peace is what we all strive for. Let's hunt down the source of this anger and this retribution. Let us go hunt down the Prime Herald. We're ready, Prime. We've been by your side this whole time to take out the Herald. Many have fallen, but let's be sure that no more fall.
Those are wise words, my friend. You are more like a Prime than you let on. All right, Prime Herald always existed.
Doing some head bobbing.
Simply enslaved me with this lying evil inside my imprisonment. I I learned of Prime Herald's plans.
Haven't heard this
to
song
take
in
over the
ages.
multiverse. My friends, a great evil now threatens the multiverse. We will find and end the Prime Herald, even if we have to cross the multiverse. The question now is, are you ready? The Matrix will light our darkest hour. Into the Matrix we go to cross the multiverse nexus. It's time to cross the multiverse. Let's roll out. My name is Optimus Prime, and this is a message that evil will never be welcome. Universes that may face the Prime Herald, and promise we will come to your aid till all are one.
Oh yeah. Stan Bush. I remember that. Oh, my phone's at 10%. An intellectual property of Hasbro. The pouch. Not bad at all. Alright, I gotta move on to the next thing. I need 2 hands and a sip of my beer. Alright. You got the touch. You got the power. Alright, going back to my watch later playlist. Thought I had more videos on here. Oh well. Largest ships in the world.
Ships in all sectors are seriously sizing up, with competing companies racing to build bigger, better, and bulkier vessels. These
Yeah, you too, man. You too.
Modern marvels of engineering, like this one, which is almost 20 times.
It might not be
taller
for a
than that
while.
truck, and this one, which is so huge it can carry an entire fleet of other ships. Want to find out more about these colossal craft? Then you're gonna want to stick around, matey. Supersized containers.
Yeah.
To start off our
I'm pretty
search,
good at
let's
matching
head
the
over to
songs
South
with the
Korea,
tone
where
of,
the
or
record-breaking
/ atmosphere of the
HMM
video
Alpha
myself.
Series was launched back in 2020. This incredible container ship can carry almost 24,000 containers on its huge
Yeah, you too,
deck,
man. Have a
which
good night.
measures in 1,312 feet long and over 200 feet wide.
I've honestly
That's
mostly been
same
focusing
size
on
as 4
uploads.
football fields
As I said
laid
earlier,
into
it's been
any.
5
Although you
months
wouldn't
since
be
my
able to
last
throw a
stream,
pig
and
shit
that's
around
for a
on this
reason.
deck, because it's usually loaded with standard 8-foot containers.
But I will be doing more
arranged in rows of
reacting.
24 across. And
Just
when
not
all of these are
necessarily in
fully
a
stacked
in a
up,
stream.
They can reach a staggering 109
My
feet
wrist is
high.
cramping up.
So, with space for all those containers, what can the HMM Algeciras lug over the lofty seas? Well, in a single voyage, it can transport more than 8.35 million microwave ovens, 223 million bananas, or, if you prefer your comparisons with a little more soul, 386 million pairs of shoes. While all these impressive numbers make it the largest ship of its kind right now, it won't be for long. 2 brand new container ships, each able to carry an immense 24,232 containers, are being constructed in China's shipyards as I speak. They're expected to set sail sometime in 2023. But until then, the HMM Algeciras remains the undisputed king of container ships. Now, if facts like this really float your boat, why not cruise that cursor of yours over to those like and subscribe buttons and give them a quick click. All done? Great. Now that we're in ship shape, let's dive back in. Colossal construction vessel. Often decked out in cranes, oil pipelines, and even oil rig topsides, the iconic twin hulls of the pioneering Spirit make transporting these massive loads look like easy work. At 1,253 feet long and 407 feet wide, this supersized ship is considered to be the largest construction vessel in the world. It's so huge that if it were tipped on its side, it would be both taller and wider than the Eiffel Tower. And like that wasn't amazing enough, the pioneering Spirit would have no problem hoisting up the 10,100-ton tower, because its lift capacity reaches a phenomenal 48,000 tons. In fact, it's so powerful that in 2017, it broke the record for the largest single lift at sea by removing the 24,000-ton Brent Delta platform topsides. That's more than 6.5 times what that fancy French tower weighs. Now, lifting things on land is a pretty simple process, as many machines can be grounded and counterweighted with ease. But marine lifting vessels require complex engineering to ensure the vessel and its cargo don't suddenly capsize. And that's where the semi-submersible secret of the pioneering Spirit comes into play. By partially submerging itself up to 88 feet below the waterline, it can slip its hulls underneath both sides of an oil rig topside. Centralizing the topside like this before cutting and lifting the entire installation reduces the chance of the ship capsizing from the swinging motion of top-heavy cranes. And by spreading the weight over those two hulking hulls, the ship can install or remove topsides even when faced with waves over 11 feet tall. As you can see, the pioneering Spirit makes astoundingly light work of these massive removals before sailing away with its huge hulls safely and ingeniously secured on board. World's widest ship. At first glance, anyone looking at this ship might be mistaken for thinking it had been sliced in half. But don't let it fool you, because this is the full size of the Ramform Titan, though what it lacks in length, it makes up for in width. At 229 feet wide, this triangle-shaped ship has a back end, or stern to use its nautical name, wider than any other single-hulled ship in the world. Unfortunately, its odd proportions have also earned it the title of ugliest ship in the world, although people wouldn't call it that if they knew what all that junk in its trunk was for. You see, the Ramform Titan is a seismic vessel used to detect and measure geological formations on the seabed. It manages this incredible feat by dragging 24 separate streamer cables lined with complex sensors over the tops of the waves. These are stored on a series of gigantic winches at the ship's stern, but when they're fully unraveled, each one is longer than 39,000 feet. So when they're spread over the water like this, they can cover an area that's over 4.5 square miles in size. This data then builds a comprehensive 3D survey of the seabed below, the formations of which can indicate if gas or oil fields lay hidden in the deep, dark depths. But why does the Ramform Titan need to be so wide? Well, like the pioneering Spirit, its extra width helps the ship stay stable in adverse weather, so it can gather clearer data from all those thousands of sensors.
Yeah, I'd check that out.
And also allows it to tow all 24 of those giant streamers without the risk of getting them tangled. So, this ship may not be the prettiest thing on the waves, but why would it need beauty when it's got all that booty? World's longest ship. If someone were to make a big-budget movie about the adventures of the aptly named sea-wise giant, no one would believe it to be true. It would be a sensational
I'd see that
story
movie.
of the largest ship ever built being bombed.
That's not a thing, is it?
And then rescued
Let me
from the
know.
bottom of the oceans to serve on the seas once again. Doesn't sound real, right? Well, originally built back in 1979, this crude oil tanker underwent an extensive 2-year refitting to become the largest ship in the world. Just how big did this make it? Well, its rudder weighed a colossal 208 tons. It could carry over 565,000 tons of cargo, and it reached a staggering 1,503 feet long. If it had been propped up on one end, it would have been taller than the Empire State Building. With all that size on its side, the sea-wise giant could transport approximately 4.2 million barrels
I gotta
of
get my
crude oil
charger.
at a time. For perspective, the same amount of water
Charging my
takes about
phone.
4 minutes to plunge over Niagara Falls. Or, for a deeper comparison, that's about 270 Olympic swimming pools filled to the brim with oil. But when it was fully laden with all that oil, it sat more than 80 feet below the waterline. This means it was so heavy that it couldn't pass through the English Channel or Panama Canal, because its lack of maneuverability threatened to beach the ship on the shallow seabed. But it wasn't this that ended up sinking it. Back in 1988, during the Iran-Iraq War, the tanker was callously bombed and sank into the shallow waves of the Iranian coast. But it was just too precious to leave rotting on the ocean floor, so it was miraculously salvaged,
Can't wait.
repaired, and renamed the Happy Giant. I mean, who wouldn't be happy to have a second shot at life like that? Once the 2 extensive years of repairs were complete, it was sold and renamed as the Yahoo Viking. Then, in 2004, it was sold yet again to First Olsen, who renamed it one final time as the Knock Nevis. The tremendous tale finally came to a close in 2009, more than 40 years after it was built, when the tanker was eventually decommissioned and scrapped.
No problem. Thanks for stopping by, dude.
The sea-wise giant makes the
Always
Titanic
appreciate
look
it.
like a drop in the ocean. Brilliant bulk carriers. When it comes to vessels that carry non-liquid cargos,
Feel free to check
like
out some of my
iron
older
ore,
videos when you
there's
get the
only
chance.
one class of ship that really puts the ore in more. The Valemax fleet are a class of very large ore carriers owned by the Brazilian mining company Vale SA. The largest ship in the fleet, known as the MS Ore Brazil, measures in at almost 1,200 feet in length and more than 213 feet wide. This colossal steep ship has 7 separate holds, which are each the size of an entire tennis court. In one voyage, it can transport 11,150 trucks worth of iron ore from Brazil all the way to China. But with all that ore on board, it can't get there all that quickly. With a top speed of just 15.4 knots, or nearly 18 miles per hour, for those of you who prefer roads to oceans, it takes around 45 days to reach its Asian destination. But just because ships of this size don't go super fast, doesn't mean they can't crash. Unfortunately, one such ship, called the Shinyo Sawako, tragically proved this back in 2008. At nearly 1,070 feet long and 185 feet wide, it was only a little smaller than the MS Ore Brazil. The bulk carrier was traveling across the high seas of southern Japan when it suddenly collided with the Lurong-Yu 2177. Even though neither vehicle was traveling at a breakneck speed, the little vessel didn't stand a chance against the mighty hull of the Sawako, and it was all but destroyed. After the tanker was rescued by a salvage team, it was revealed that 16 crew members from the Lurong-Yu had tragically been sent to sleep with the fishes. It just goes to show that out in the ocean, size really does matter. Frightful fishing factory. Some supersized ships start out with a bright and promising future ahead of them, but it can all take an ugly turn depending on what they're used for. And no ship knows that better than the 45,000-ton oil tanker once named the Freeport Chief. Built in Russia back in 1980, this 750 feet long, 105 feet wide vessel was a moderately sized tanker with a decent service history. The vessel was hauled into a Chinese shipyard where $100 million was spent converting it into a huge floating fish factory. Renamed the Lafayette, the old tanker had been completely redesigned to suck up fish from attendant trawlers with a massive hose before freezing them into huge blocks. They were held in the ship's 232 massive vertical freezers, which could freeze a whopping 1,500 tons of fish in just 24 hours. If it worked every day, it had the capacity to process 547,000 tons of fish, making it the largest floating fish factory in the world. It seemed like an ingenious way to repurpose the old tanker, but there was a huge catch. The Lafayette was operating illegally. Its army of trawlers were plundering the South American seas and overfishing Pacific mackerel, but their suspicious movements put them in the crosshairs of the Peruvian government. In a stunning blow, the Lafayette was declared an illegal, unreported, unregulated ship, which is government talk for pirate ship, and were slapped with a huge $800,000 fine. Though instead of paying up, the ship's name sneakily changed to the Damanzai Hao, and it continued its illicit operations. But this exceedingly dumb plan wasn't enough to hide it from the authorities. In 2018, the giant ship made waves in the media after federal agents boarded the Damanzai Hao while it was in a Peruvian port and detained the vessel. It cost the ship a further $570,000 in fines, and it was banned entirely from entering Peruvian waters. Hopefully, that'll teach any future pirates not to mess with the South Americans' mackerel ever again. Humongous heavy transport vehicles. It may not seem possible for a single ship to transport over 73,000 tons of cargo all at once, but I assure you, with the Buscalis MV Blue Marlin, it absolutely is. At 712 feet long and 138 feet wide, this heavy transport vessel boasts a deck area bigger than a full soccer field, and it puts every last inch to good use. It was built back in 2000 to lug around oil rigs, aircraft carriers, and even other cargo ships. So, once it's loaded with all those other shipping ships, this ship becomes a shipping ship that ships shipping ships. Oh god,
Try saying that 5 times
Although
fast.
that's nothing compared to the headache the Marlin's designers must have suffered from. In order to load up huge shipments like these, the designers decided to remove the bow, stern, and even the sides of the ship so that she could transport huge items with overhang. But accommodating massive cargo was only half the problem. After all, most cargo this size is far too heavy to be lifted by the world's strongest cranes. To solve this, engineers built in a revolutionary feature, a semi-submersible system. When loading, the ship partially submerges its deck up to 33 feet underwater so that the cargo can be floated on top. The 6 huge water-filled ballast tanks on either side are then emptied, and the deck floats back up with its cargo lifted on board. But if you thought the Blue Marlin was big, get ready to feast your eyes on its much bigger brother, the Boca Vanguard, able to carry an incredible 117,000 tons, and with a deck that's astoundingly 70% larger than the Marlin's, it dwarfs the Marlin in both capacity and size. So while the Marlin was busy shipping ships, the Vanguard was breaking world records by transporting an entire fish farm measuring almost 1,300 by 200 feet. That made this 36,000-ton fish farm the largest cargo ever to be transported by a sea vessel. Damn, that's so big it makes the Blue Marlin look cute.
It kinda does.
Perplexing passenger ships. Cruise ships today are so large they've practically become floating cities, but they didn't always start out this huge. Back in 2004, the iconic Queen Mary II revved up her 4 near 217-ton engines
There's a Queen Mary
set
II?
sail on her maiden voyage
Cool.
from Southampton, England. When she launched, this transatlantic ocean liner was the largest of her kind, reaching a colossal 1,132 feet long. That makes her about as long as 10 Boeing 737s lined up nose to tail. But it isn't just length that she boasts. At 232 feet high, she holds a huge 17 separate decks, complete with 1,310 staterooms, 7 restaurants, and even 5 swimming pools. Altogether, this means she can accommodate up to 3,090 guests and more than 1,250 crew, making her more of a massive ocean hotel than a ship. But it's the view below the waterline that really shows you just how big this liner is. The 4 propulsors that hang off the ship's stern, that's the back of the ship for people that don't speak sailor, hold huge propellers that measure almost 20 feet across. And if that wasn't enough to put its gargantuan size into perspective, here's the bottom of the ship next to one of London's famous 16-foot-tall double-decker buses. That driver clearly took a wrong turn somewhere. But all this size doesn't come cheap. At the time, the Queen Mary II cost approximately £550 million to build, which is a staggering $1 billion in today's moolah. Although that's nothing compared to the biggest cruise ship currently sailing around the world, the Symphony of the Seas. At 1,188 feet long, 238 feet tall, and 154 feet wide, the largest passenger ship on Earth cost a colossal $1.35 billion to build back in 2016. With an amazing 230,000 gross tonnage, that is to say, its overall internal volume, this luxury liner can carry a whopping 5,600 guests and almost 2,400 crew. That's over 3,650 more people than the Queen Mary II could shuttle across the seas. And, as you'd expect, there's absolutely nothing that you could call small. With 18 decks hosting 22 restaurants, 42 bars, theaters, an ice rink, and even the world's tallest slide at sea, it's more like a sideways skyscraper than a ship. But with all that junk in the trunk, this mammoth vehicle can only reach a top speed of 22 knots, which is a little more than 25 miles per hour at best. Well, she may not be speedy, but I guess that's why they call it a cruise ship and not a rocket ship. Amazing aircraft carriers. Aircraft carriers have been symbols of naval power and prestige for decades, and the bigger they are, the more intimidating they look. But while some, like the USS Lexington here, look terrifyingly large, none can compete with the sheer size of the USS Enterprise. No, not the fictional flying starship, but the longest Navy vessel ever built. At 1,123 feet long, if the Enterprise stood on its end, it would be more than 100 feet taller than London's famous Shard Building. Launched all the way back in 1961, she was designed to carry up to 90 aircraft along with 4,600 crew on board. Her flight deck had almost 4.5 acres of usable space, which is about the same amount of area as 2.5 soccer pitches. Although this ship was much more than a glorified sports pitch. At the time it was commissioned, it was the only aircraft carrier to be nuclear powered, and 8 separate reactors drove the 4 massive propellers on either side. These allowed the carriers to reach a top speed of just over 33 knots, or, if you prefer your rates a little more grounded, almost 38 miles per hour. Truly, this vessel was one of a kind, although she wasn't meant to be. The Enterprise carrier class was originally meant to consist of 6 other sister ships. However, its escalating construction costs put a quick end to that radioactive dream. That's because this colossal carrier took 3 years and approximately $451.3 million to construct on its own. That may not sound like much compared to the previously mentioned cruise ships, but that was back in 1961. Today, inflation puts that figure at a gut-busting $3.9 billion. Yes, that's billion, with a capital B. Fortunately, the U.S. Navy really got their money's worth, and Enterprise served as a part of the fleet for 56 years until it was decommissioned in 2017. It had a good run, but I guess it was time this ship faced its final frontier. Undetectable destroyers. Despite what it looks like, no, that's not a Star Destroyer gliding through the water. That uniquely angular vessel is
Very
the
cute.
USS Zumwalt, a guided missile destroyer that was commissioned by the U.S. Navy back in 2016. Now, compared to the classic silhouettes of other naval destroyers, such as the Arleigh Burke and Kidd classes, you might be wondering why the Zumwalt looks more like a floating pyramid. That's because this state-of-the-art destroyer is designed, above all else, for stealth. You see, radar systems detect objects by sending out bursts of radio energy. When this energy hits an object, it's then reflected back to the radar, relaying how far away and what size the object is. Now, most metal seafaring vessels have a rounded design, which makes them very efficient radar reflectors. However, stealth ships like these incorporate plenty of sharp angles into their designs, so that radio signals are reflected away from the radar, making them much harder to detect.
Yeah, you know, I just noticed I'm not doing a lot of reacting.
Is an astonishing 50 times harder to spot on radar than a regular destroyer, and that's despite its colossal size. At 600
I mean, I'm basically looking at a little phone screen with
this thing is a phenomenal
a
40%
bunch of
larger
words
than the
like
USS
from
current
chat
Arleigh
right
Burke
in my
destroyer,
face right
making
now.
it the largest naval destroyer in the world. Originally, the US wanted to build 32 of these incredible ships, with $9.6 billion set aside.
I know it's a
for
bad
their research
idea,
and
but I'm thinking about
development.
turning
However,
off chat
construction
for the
costs
next
for the ships
stream.
were vastly underestimated, so this number was reduced down to just 3. Even so, with research and development expenses on top, the ships cost an outrageous $7.5 billion to complete each. That's more than
Oy
5.5 times what the colossal Symphony of the Seas cost to build. Well, the Zoom Vault may not be the biggest thing out in the ocean, but it's certainly one of the most expensive. Though it does make me wonder what stealthy Navy
much
vessels
longer?
are going to look like in the future.
I know this is
Maybe
a
they'll end up
26-minute
with more
video,
angles
but
inside and out than a diamond.
okay, 4 minutes
Or will they
left.
find a way to become completely 2D? What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. The unparalleled Prelude. When it comes down to sheer size, there's one vessel that really looks like it's going for the title of biggest ship in the world. Although, despite all its floating features, it isn't really a ship. It's called Prelude, a floating liquefied natural gas, or FLNG, platform. At more than 1,600 feet long and 240 feet wide, this impossibly vast vessel was constructed using more steel than the entire World Trade Center complex.
Whoa.
Not only that, but even its height, which is arguably its least impressive metric, still makes it taller than London's iconic Big Ben. Or, if you like your comparisons a little more American, that makes it taller than the Statue of Liberty. Although, unlike these monuments, this platform doesn't just sit around looking pretty. It floats out to underwater gas fields and is secured to the seafloor with massive mooring chains.
Whoa.
These are made up of more than 25,000 links
crazy.
and are some of the largest chains in the world. These are attached to a central turret, which allows the ship to rotate like a weather vane in adverse weather. Once secured to the seafloor, the facility then draws up and produces liquid natural gas and other petroleum products from the gas fields below. Currently, it's installed atop Browse Basin, 330 miles off the Australian coastline, where it works to dredge up about 3.6 million tons of liquid gas every year. But just how much can it carry in one go? Well, it has the capacity to process a staggering 175 Olympic swimming pools worth of liquefied gas. And this is done over a deck that's longer than 4 soccer fields laid end to end. But while it does have 3 incredibly powerful 6,700 horsepower thrusters to help position it, it doesn't have any kind of propulsion system. That means it technically classes as a barge rather than a ship, so it relies on a series of tugboats to sail it into position. Now, don't be fooled. The Prelude may look like any other large barge in comparison to those tiny tugs, but each one is a whopping 250 feet long. And the Prelude needs all the help it can get, because when fully loaded, the floating facility weighs about the same as 6 of the largest aircraft carriers. Now, it might be a tight fit, but it looks like humanity has finally built a boat large enough to carry your mom.
Oh, burn!
Which of these impressive vessels do you most
Was that really
want to
necessary?
sail across the sea? Or have you already been lucky enough to step foot on one of them already? Let me know down in the comments below. And
Yeah, sorry guys, I would react to the premiere party, but I don't think I'm allowed to.
plenty of famous faces that you probably wouldn't even recognize anymore if you passed them on the street. Whether they've partied a little too hard, gone under the knife one too many times.
You know he's
or
in
simply
season
let
10 of
themselves
American
go.
Horror Story
Here are
now.
some of your famous
Macaulay
celebrities
Culkin.
who are unrecognizable today. Pamela Anderson. If you were to travel back in time to the 1990s and look up the phrase blonde bombshell, you'd probably see one woman's photo, Pamela Anderson. The buxom Canadian-American movie star first rose to fame after being selected as the Playmate of the Month for Playboy magazine in February 1990. In fact, this bleach blonde bunny now holds the record for the most Playboy covers by any person. That's one impressive
Did he just say
accolade. Almost
bleach
as impressive
blonde?
as her excellent pair of eyes. But, of course, Pamela Anderson is most known for her iconic role as C.J. Parker in the action drama series Baywatch. I mean, she practically owns the red bathing suit look as far as Hollywood is concerned. Anderson has enjoyed an incredible career in Hollywood since hanging up her swimsuit in 2001. And she even briefly returned to the beach in the 2017 movie Reboot. As you can see, Pam has totally still got it. But there's no denying that natural aging process has also taken its course. After all, she is 53 now. In more recent paparazzi snaps like this one, the natural lines on her face reflect an action-packed Hollywood lifestyle, although her signature dark eye makeup and bleach blonde locks remain intact. But things might not be as au naturel as they seem. In 2017, Pam sparked online debate when she appeared to have miraculously turned back the hands of time at the Cannes Film Festival. With barely a wrinkle in sight, she turned heads with her updated youthful glow. But London plastic surgeon Dr. Maureen O'Joffrey speculated that she may have had a number of subtle procedures, including a mini facelift, cheek fillers, and forehead Botox. She may not be the undisputed hottest babe in Hollywood anymore, but it's safe to say that Pamela Anderson grabbed life by the cajoolies. Aging? Never heard of it. Celebrities and plastic surgery go hand in hand, but you can be rest assured that Be Amazed is all natural. You won't catch me pulling the wool over your eyes in any of the mind-blowing content I put out. To make sure you stay in the loop with all things weird and wonderful, all you gotta do is smash those like and subscribe buttons. It's really that easy. Now, let's check out some more shocking transformations. Matthew Perry. Actor Matthew Perry has one of the most recognizable faces of 1990s TV. Or should I say, one of the 6 most recognizable faces. Whether you love it or hate it, Friends, which ran from 1994 to 2004 for a total of 236 episodes, is one of the most popular TV sitcoms of all time. By 2002, it was even reported that each member of the main cast was making a whopping $1 million per episode.
Oh, I thought he was gonna say 1 million babies.
Bing was just one of the lucky actors catching those checks.
Threw me off.
But whatever happened to Chandler once the show went off air? Other cast members, like Jennifer Aniston and Lisa Kudrow, have continued to appear on the big screen over the years. But Matthew Perry has kept a relatively low profile. Besides being the co-creator, writer, executive producer, and star of the ABC sitcom Mr. Sunshine, which ran from 2011 to 2012, it's unlikely you've seen Perry's face much over the last decade. So, when Courtney Cox Instagrammed
although he wasn't 17 again, don't forget
hubby
that.
in November 2019, fans were shocked to see just how different he looked, but people couldn't quite put their finger on it. Had Perry fallen into the plastic surgery trap like so many former stars? Or was this simply a waxwork figure of the actual actor? It turns out Perry has actually just let himself go a little. In 2018, Perry suffered a gastrointestinal perforation that left him bedridden for 3 months. On top of that, he suffered a lengthy and candid battle with addiction, including multiple stints in rehab. As a result, Perry's slack-jawed face now looks pretty weathered by life's experiences, and he's developed quite a paunch. Then again, the guy is
Jennifer
in his 50s
Aniston?
now, and
No,
one
that
can
is
be
a woman who
lovable
never
teenage
ages.
heartthrob forever. Lil' Kim.
Lil'
Before
Kim.
Nicki Minaj
Who?
and Megan Thee Stallion, there was Lil' Kim. And if you're around in the 90s,
Oh, that makes
you'll know that the
sense.
American rapper was a
I was
pretty big
not
deal.
paying
Her
attention to rap
1996
before
debut
Nicki
studio
Minaj.
album Hardcore was certified
Like,
double
at
platinum
all.
and has since sold more than 6 million copies
I-
worldwide.
I grew
Besides
up in a
being
family
straight-up
that does
rapstress,
not listen
Lil'
to
Kim
rap
has
at
also
all.
been hailed as
We
a
are
fashion
strictly a
icon
pop
thanks to her
and
colorful
rock
hair and
family,
risk-taking
with, of
looks.
course, metal
Since hitting
in the
her
middle
musical
there.
peak, Kim has been on
And
quite
Christian
a
music,
rocky
but I
road,
don't listen
and
to
even
much of that
served a
anymore.
1-year prison sentence in 2005. But it's her changing appearance which shocked the most. The truth is that Lil' Kim has been steadily changing her face since at least 1999. It began with blue contacts and a blonde lace front wig. and quickly developed with various plastic surgeries. Here she is in 2003 with a seemingly thinner nose and possible breast implants. In 2004, she was seen rocking suspiciously fuller lips in New York. By 2010, her face
It's
shape
perplexing,
was
isn't
drastically
it?
changing, and she was using a notably lighter foundation. And by the time she appeared at the MTV Music Awards in Brooklyn in 2013, she was almost completely unrecognizable. But the real shock came in April 2016.
Oh my God,
when the
is that
rapper
the same
debuted
person?
A series of since-deleted selfies on Instagram. With a paler face and bright blonde hair, it appeared that the once cocoa-skinned beauty had been bleaching her skin to achieve a lighter tone. On multiple occasions, Lil' Kim has opened up about her self-esteem issues stemming back to toxic relationships in her past.
When I was younger, I've had a lot of relationships where men used to tell me, you know, I wasn't all that and I was ugly and...
Like millions of other dark-skinned women, it's entirely possible that Lil' Kim has been conditioned to equate lighter skin with false beauty standards. As a result, she's indulged in expensive surgeries to change herself into someone entirely different. Lil' Kim, if you're watching this, you're one badass woman just the way you are. Aubrey O'Day. It's no surprise that Aubrey O'Day has changed a lot over the years. At just 21 years old, she was selected by rapper P. Diddy to become a member of his girl group Danity Kane, who enjoyed moderate success, despite disbanding and reforming more times than I care to mention. But as the years progressed, O'Day made headlines not for her musical output, but for her ever-changing looks. When she first joined the band, O'Day was a pretty blonde with a distinctly natural look.
It's going to be 1
within
o'clock
10
in a few
years,
minutes.
She was practically unrecognizable, having swapped her modest hair and makeup for all the makings of a modern-day Instagram influencer. To turn herself into a bronzed goddess for her socials, O'Day has been open about her use of filters, confessing, "I know all the tricks and I use them." But a little bit of extra concealer and a Facetune subscription probably aren't the only things responsible for O'Day's striking transformation. When comparing
Honestly,
photos to the
in
ones
that
posted
shot
on
right
her
there,
Instagram, it doesn't
I didn't
take
think she was that
pains to
good
say
looking.
that her lips are noticeably fuller, her nose seems thinner, and her
Oh
butt
God.
seems to have
Personally,
undergone
I think she
transformation
looked better
worthy of 1,000
before.
squats. Although she had denied
Honestly,
surgery for years in the
sometimes,
past, she admitted to
I
a
mean,
few
actually,
non-invasive
more
procedures,
often than not,
including lip fillers
plastic
and
surgery
Botox.
just seems
But
to
the now
ruin
36-year-old
natural
O'Day
beauty.
shocked the world once again when she debuted a drastically different look featuring her ample assets at the premiere of Marriage Boot Camp in October 2019.
Oh,
Now,
God.
compare those shots to these unfiltered paparazzi snaps from 2020.
People
And,
are so
well,
primitive.
I think the only person who really knows what Aubrey O'Day looks like is Aubrey O'Day. What do you guys make of celebrities
Jesus
and
Christ.
so-called influencers who
It's not
rely
the same
heavily on
person.
photo editing tricks and
Like
sneaky
I
cosmetic
said,
surgeries to
just
achieve their
appreciate
look?
the
Do you
way
think
you
it needs
look.
to stop, or should
I
we
know
just
for a
be
lot
more
of people
open
that's
about it?
asking a
Let me
lot.
know
I
in
mean,
the
we all get
comments below.
insecure
I'm
sometimes,
genuinely
but
curious to hear your opinions. Now, let's
honestly,
get back
I
to it.
think plastic surgery is just a waste of
Rourke.
money. You never
Early in
know
his
how it's
career,
going to turn
actor
out.
Mickey Rourke was known as one of the silver screen's most handsome stars.
I can see
80s
why.
hits like Diner, Rumblefish, and The Pope of Greenwich Village, his modest swagger and mysterious pout made him a total Hollywood heartthrob. But it seems like it wasn't built to last. Even at his peak, Rourke had a difficult relationship with his own career. He struggled with the pressures of fame and earned himself a bad reputation for his demeanor on sets and reckless spending habits. So, he started to channel his energy into professional boxing. But it was this career move that began his unbelievable transformation into the unrecognizable man we see today. Within just a few
looks
years
creepy
of
now.
boxing, while acting intermittently at the same time, Rourke had broken his nose twice, snapped his cheekbone, and damaged his ribs and toes. To appear unharmed on screen and continue cashing his acting checks in movies like Iron Man 2, Rourke had
That was
surgical
him?
fixes for his injuries.
Wow.
All that
I don't see
breaking and
it.
repairing began to take a toll on his once handsome face. Although he initially denied ever going under the knife, Rourke eventually
He was in the original
confessed in
Expendables movie,
2009
too.
that his physical transformation was all down to a botched facial surgery. It's probably best explained in his own words. I went to the wrong guy to put my face back together. Ouch. As Rourke tried to revive his acting career, he had even more surgeries, including a hair transplant, to try
some
and
footage from,
restore his former
from the
beauty.
Expendables.
But by 2019, plastic surgeon Hala El Mahdi speculated that his face is in an almost permanently paralyzed state from constant Botox. Let this be a lesson, kids. Look after your face. It's the only one you've got.
True.
Amanda Bynes.
Oh.
Amanda Bynes' life so far.
I swear, she's in every single one of these videos.
Star gone wrong. Bynes made the transition from commercials.
It's actually pretty weird that I've never seen Kesha in these videos.
Personality and comedic timing so much that she quickly landed roles in popular Nickelodeon shows like the
she used to be
sketch
so
comedy
cute.
All That when she was just 10 years old, and The Amanda Show when she was 13. From there, she racked up several Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards and starred in popular comedy movies throughout the 2000s, from She's the Man to Hairspray. It seemed like Bynes was destined for superstardom, and then it all went wrong. In 2010, she announced her early retirement from acting as she struggled with various personal problems. But her attempt to retreat from the spotlight only resulted in a highly publicized public breakdown. Between 2012 and 2013, when she was often pictured looking
She looked like Miley Cyrus in the left one.
Colorful wigs, she was arrested multiple times for an array of scandalous incidents, which culminated when she was accused of setting a fire in a residential driveway in California. As a result, Bynes entered a psychiatric facility for evaluation. During her court appearances at the time, Bynes looked like a shadow of her former self in a messy blonde wig with noticeably puffier features. She has since expressed remorse for her previous actions and seems to be reformed. But she took the internet by storm again in 2019 when she posted selfies featuring what appears to be a tattoo of a wonky heart on her face. Whether this is the start of another downward
She looks like
spiral
Noah Cyrus.
remains to be seen. But we can only hope
Oh my
to see
goodness.
Bynes return to the big screen sometime soon. Meg Ryan. If
Who?
you're a fan of the romantic comedy genre, the chances are you've seen Meg Ryan before. The former doe-eyed blonde first began her career acting in a slew of supporting roles in mid-1980s
she looks kinda
movies
familiar.
like Top Gun. But her big break came in 1989, when she landed the leading role in the cult classic When Harry Met Sally, which earned her a Golden Globe nomination. From there, she quickly established herself as one of the most successful actresses in the 1990s and early 2000s, which was recognized in 2018 when she was awarded the Leopard Club Award at the 71st Locarno Film Festival as an icon of romantic comedy. But Ryan stepped away from the Hollywood spotlight after reaching her peak, later explaining in 2019 that she felt totally burnt out and isolated living life as a full-time actress. So, where is she now? Ryan has kept a low profile in recent years, but she made quite a splash in 2016 when she debuted a dramatically different look as she took to the stage to present at the Tony Awards. While her blonde hair, now cropped, looked just as glam, her complexion looked suspiciously taut and slightly puffy. And at a rare appearance at Paris Fashion Week in 2019, it seemed like not a day had passed, let alone 4 years. In fact, some would say that Ryan is slowly working her way back to her glory days with her appearance. The actress
I can
has
see
previously
that.
denied any surgery rumors, expressing how much she loves the aging process. But all may not be as it seems. According to the keen eye of Dr. James Southwell Keeley, Meg may have undergone a facelift, upper blepharoplasty, that's eyelid construction to you and me, and lip fillers. Whether or not she has gone under the knife remains to be seen.
Needles.
But one thing's for sure, I'll be jumping for joy if I look that good at 59. Macaulay Culkin. If you haven't seen the Home Alone movies,
Who
you either
hasn't?
been living under a rock for the last 30 years, or you just really hate the holidays. Of course, the franchise would be nothing without its star, 8-year-old Kevin McAllister, who was portrayed by actor Macaulay Culkin. Culkin first started acting at just 4 years old in TV, before
Let's
landing
go,
the starring
Mets.
role in Home
Let's
Alone
go,
in 1990
Mets.
and its sequel in 1992. At one point, he was regarded as the most successful child star since Shirley Temple, but that
There's
hasn't
an
stopped
animal
people from asking the
cracker
inevitable
in my
since,
soup.
whatever happened to Macaulay Culkin? In 1994,
Yeah, whatever
Coke
happened to
announced
Shirley
that he was
Temple?
taking a break from
Gonna have
acting
to look
live
that
a
up,
normal
maybe.
life after suing his parents for a cool $17 million and divorcing them as his legal guardians aged just 15. He had a few minor TV appearances in the early 2000s, including a guest star on an episode of Will and Grace in 2003. But former fans were shocked when he was photographed in 2012 looking a little worse for wear. As you can see, his former impish charm had been swapped for a gaunt frame, sunken cheeks, and a general aura of homeless chic. Within no time, Culkin was plagued by rumors of some pretty heavy substance abuse. Although
Actually,
denied such
he doesn't
talk,
look as
Culkin
bad
later
as
admitted that
I would
he
have
played
imagined.
some fire, but never went to rehab. In 2013, he reintroduced
I mean,
himself
he's
to the world
still
by
looked like a
co-founding
good-looking
pizza-themed
guy,
comedy rock band, the Pizza
but
Underground,
just
which
not really
broke up in
someone
2016.
that
Bizarre musical
I would
ventures
take to meet
aside,
my
Culkin now
parents.
seems to be on the straight and narrow, and looking healthier and happier than ever. Home Alone 3, anyone?
Wow.
Hill.
Okay.
Jonah Hill is one of the biggest personalities in comedy. Over the past 2 decades, the 36-year-old actor has appeared in a slew
He's
of
36?
iconic movies, including Superbad, Forgetting
Interesting.
Sarah Marshall, Get Into the Creek, 21 Jump Street, and its sequel, 22 Jump Street.
I love
As
those
Hill
movies.
ranked 28th on Forbes magazine's
It's a shame
ranking
they
of the
never
world's
made a
highest-paid actors
a
from
third
June 2014
23
to
Jump
June
Street.
2015, bringing in a whopping $16 million. There's no denying that it's Hill's larger-than-life personality that made him such a well-loved Hollywood star. But his weight has fluctuated massively over the years since his early appearances in flicks like Get Into the Creek and Moneyball. While Hill slimmed down slightly for 21 Jump Street in 2012, the weight had started to creep back on again by The Wolf of Wall Street in 2013 and 2014's 22 Jump Street. But back in 2017, he was almost unrecognizable.
Whoa.
Debuted as a
Major
bitter
transformation.
look in LA. So, how does this Oscar-nominated funny man manage to get so trim in such a short space of time? According to Hill, it was mostly down to making changes in his diet, including ditching his beloved beer. After filming for War Dogs Rat, Hill said that he called former Jump Street co-star Channing Tatum and said, "Hey, if I ate less and go to a trainer, will I get in better shape?" To which Tatum replied, "Of course you will. It's the simplest thing in the world." I don't know about you, Channing, but a transformation as remarkable as this is probably easier said than done.
Yeah, definitely.
Elsa Patton. Take
Oh my
one
God!
look at
I
a
mean, I
recent
hate to
image
be
of
rude,
Elsa
but
Patton, and it's
oh my
hard
God.
to imagine there was ever a quote-unquote normal-looking
What
woman beneath.
happened?
You're probably not familiar with her unless you happen to be
Oh
a
my
total
God.
reality
She-
TV junkie.
She looks
Patton,
like she
more
had the
affectionately
worst
known by her on-screen
allergic
name,
reaction
Mama
I've ever
Elsa,
seen.
is best known for her regular appearances on all 3 seasons of The Real Housewives of Miami, alongside her daughter Marisol Patton, who was a
Marisol.
main cast member. The show aired between 2011 and 2013, and Mama Elsa was such a hit that she even landed herself her own reality web series, Havana Elsa, which followed her as she embarked on launching her own coffee line. Besides her hilarious on-screen personality, there's one relationship that was even closer than Elsa and Marisol's, and that's Elsa's relationship with her cosmetic surgeon. Throughout her appearances on the show, it was clear that Elsa was addicted to going under the knife. She mentioned her multiple procedures on many
That's
occasions,
pretty
and
clear.
even referred to her surgeon as the man who ruined my face. She said it, not me. But what did Elsa's face used to look like? In one 2013 episode of the show, fans were stunned when Marisol brought out a collection of old family photos which showed a significantly more natural-looking Elsa with a youthful glow and full pouty lips. The specifics of Elsa's surgical journey throughout the years remains unclear. But her daughter, who seems to be well on the way to following in her mother's footsteps, has
Yeah,
even stated
I
that
didn't wanna
Elsa
say
had her
anything,
eyelids
but-
done in the 80s, which left her with hematomas
Jesus
on her eyes for
Christ.
2 years. Sadly, Mama Elsa
Oh my
passed
God.
away in May 2019.
This is
aged
killing me.
84, leaving her reality TV legacy behind. I hope there's a good plastic surgeon in heaven.
You don't need
Janice
plastic
Dickinson.
surgery in
Now
heaven.
65-year-old Janice Dickinson
bunch of
is
morons.
the self-declared world's first supermodel. She was renowned for her classic brunette beauty and bold red lips, and was one of the
Nice.
most successful models of the 1970s and 80s, appearing on the cover of Vogue
She looks
a
like
grand
Selena
total of
Gomez.
37 times. Her renowned status earned her a spot on the
Not in
judging
that
panel
photo.
of America's Next Top Model for 4 cycles in 2003 to 2006, while she opened her own modeling agency in 2005 as part of her own reality show. But as the decades went by, Dickinson decided that aging just wasn't for her. Quickly realizing she couldn't just stop the hands of time, she reached for the next best thing. The number for the best plastic surgeon she could find.
Of course, you had to see that coming.
TV shows like I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here in 2007 and Celebrity Big Brother in 2015, it was plainly obvious that she had gone under the knife more than a handful of times. The former supermodel looked like a mere caricature of her former self. But was it all worth it? Absolutely not. In 2013, Dickinson was forced
I've got
to
eyes, I can
herself
see for myself.
owing almost $1 million in unpaid taxes and cosmetic bills.
Of
At
course.
the time of filing,
Yeah.
she owed $8,000 to Beverly Hills dermatologist.
Gotta
Pamela
prioritize
Klein,
your
and
money,
over
man.
$8,000 in debt to the Beverly Hills Anti-Aging Center. She admitted
They don't
to
call
having
it
a
stupid
breast
rich for no
enlargement,
reason.
tummy tuck, neck and facelifts, liposuction, and Botox.
Oh, they should put disclaimers for graphic images.
When she appeared on an episode
I don't know,
of
I'm
Bosch
finding
in
this pretty
2015.
hard to watch for some
Thankfully,
reason.
2 years later, she debuted a more demure look at a fashion show in West Hollywood.
Wait, by the way,
Let's
did
hope
I leave a
this
like?
is the start of a return to
Because I actually do like this.
Caitlyn Jenner. Of
Oh,
all the
Jesus
celebs we've
Christ.
seen, no one has changed quite as much as Caitlyn Jenner. The Olympic champion, formerly known as Bruce Jenner,
Oh,
became a
that's
household
right.
name in 2015
Forgot
when
about
she
that.
broke the internet by unveiling her now iconic Vanity Fair cover,
Oh,
which
yeah.
announced her gender
Big
transition.
change.
But long before the official news rocked the world, Caitlyn's changing face was already a topic of conversation as part of the globally famous Kardashian reality TV empire. When 26-year-old Bruce won gold at the Olympics in 1976, his appearance embodied the stereotypical hunky all-American hero image, which can be seen in his famous Playgirl cover from 1982. But by 1984, Bruce's gradual transition had begun as he started to thin out his eyebrows and even got his first nose job and facelift in an effort to look more groomed. Caitlyn later confessed that she had also started hormone therapy at this time and was undergoing electrolysis to remove facial hair. But a full-scale transition was put on pause when she started dating Kardashian momager Kris Jenner. Before the year 2000, Bruce admitted that he had undergone at least 6 procedures on his face, including more nose jobs and facelifts, which were later corrected in 2009 with another revisionary facelift. Bruce pierced his ears in 2011, and as the years went by, fans of Keeping Up with the Kardashians noted how he would grow his hair to shoulder length, manicure his nails, and continue to feminize his face with various cosmetic surgeries. In 2014, he sparked transition rumors when he famously had his Adam's apple shaved down, and was pictured with what appeared to be breasts. Just a few months after it was reported that he had undergone breast augmentation surgery. Of course, all that speculation would culminate when Caitlyn announced herself to the world, having undergone
Gotta admit, that is a really nice picture.
a 10-hour facial feminization surgery that reportedly cost $70,000. But no amount of money can buy the happiness that Caitlyn has found, as she now lives her best life as a lavish woman in her bougie pad in Malibu.
Whoa.
What a living legend. So, who do you think has changed the most? If you love a bit of good old showbiz gossip, why not check out this video next? It's about celebrities who now work normal jobs. As always, thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah, well, it is now past 2 o'clock. Yeah, I just, want to check out one more video.
Taking care of something private here. Why don't you just head the other way?
Oh, it's always sad when horses die in this game.
Mister? Help somebody! 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 Help somebody!
Oh my god.
Help somebody! Help somebody! Help somebody! Help
It's some kind of glitch.
somebody! Help somebody! Help somebody!
That pose is supposed to be of... That, she's supposed to be laying over that guy. This is clearly a glitch. Okay. This is gonna keep going. Honestly, you could rap to this. Make a remix. I feel like you could easily make this into a song. And that is the very first upload from Strange Man. I wonder if it's because he shot his horse that created the glitch. Well. And just for the heck of it. I mean, we're already past the 2-hour mark. What more gonna do?
I don't believe it! I thought you were dead!
Pearson!
What are you doing here? Welcome to my store. How can I help you? Are you serious? Yeah! Beats the old butcher's table, doesn't it? So what can I get for you today, sir? How the hell are you?
I don't understand how people can do that.
Don't kill me. Okay. Thieving bastard.
Aww. How could you? Man, I could never get myself to rob Pearson.
Real piece of work you've turned into.
He was always like that.
You're gonna go to jail. Someone is going to jail.
Aww.
One more time, boy. Jesus!
Give me whatever you got in the race. I just got in. Resist.
Oh God, fight me.
You know, he might shoot you even if you give it to him. This guy's crazy. I'd listen to him. I'm his hostage, by the way.
I love Trevor.
Aren't you gonna fight him? Clean me up. Resist. Great. Police.
Excuse me.
Hunting. Armin. Legendary cougar.
Is that all?
Why, hello.
That's pretty overkill.
Oh, there you are.
Honestly, what store would sell a minigun in real life?
Hey.
I stand corrected. Now that's overkill.
Hello again. You look married.
Getting drunk.
Partner, what can I get you? Give me something to drink.
Is there any place in the world I'd rather be than drunk as a skunk at the Alamo Sea?
I'm gonna miss this when you move out. Does that mean you're getting me a house?
I'm not quite ready to go yet, but if I am going, I'm taking the maid and the credit card.
Ha.
I don't think I want to.
Ha.
Jimmy! Hey, Jimmy. Hey, Dad.
Push him to the mud. Ah, found you, Lenny.
Jimbo. Actually, it's Jizzle. Why did you never met?
Oh, shit! My heart! Hey, you alright, man? I gotta call somebody. Oh! No, wait. It's just this. God, I thought for a second. Yeah, shit. So did I. I thought I was gonna have the defibrillator, whatever, man. Yo, I gotta stop doing this shit. You get blind drunk at my age, I could drop it any second. There's a more likely you on the morning, dog, as booze leave your system. Yeah, that's when you're most likely experiencing a coronary event. God, just what I wanted to hear. Right when I thought mornings couldn't get any more stressful. I'm calling the doctor. Tomorrow. I'm calling the doctor. Yeah, sure you are. But you'll be calling them from a bar. Yeah, probably. Oh.
What is it?
Keep your hair on. I'm just gonna have a little sit down. Feel sorry for myself.
How's this?
When'd she miss Abigail?
Don't even start, Arthur.
That sounded very condescending.
All good with you?
I think so. I feel we're making progress.
Looking good, Carlos.
Carlitos.
Anyway, I thought you liked this place.
No, John, I don't like it. I love it. It's home.
Taking photos.
You'll be prepared. Convoys carrying military-grade hardware pass near here to get to Fort Zancudo. I propose hijacking one and using the equipment to get an edge on the locals.
We put a lot of research.
It's very entertaining to see how the times
We'll
evolved.
send Miss Jones ahead to the bank. They won't recognize her. What are you thinking this time?
The difference of how we perceive things that have just always been around and how differently we do it.
We're gonna drop you up here, okay? When you hear it kick off, get ready.
Yeah,
We're
I
gonna
mean,
wanna go ASAP.
I get I guess videos like this get pretty old after a while, but
We never decided.
they are certainly very interesting in moderation.
Of course, you know I like the harlot. You all ready? Let's go!
On the ground! This is a stinko! Go!
Goddamn robbery! Nobody move! Nowhere! Nobody move! Don't make us hurt
Nobody move, nobody get hurt.
Oh, what you think we're here for? Open the goddamn vault! Open it! Follow procedure! Stay back! We got hostages!
Gentlemen, hurry! We seem to have some company.
Sheriff's here. We never could have beaten that response. There's other ways of beating it. I said come out now! What do we do? I don't know. Give me a sec. Sweet. Mother shit. Time to face the music.
I love the look on Trevor's face when he walks out of the bank with that minigun. So hilarious.
You see any more of them? There's even more of these bastards! Down, assholes! Come on, get across! Gotta beat that train organ! Here we go! Right here!
I love that connection.
We're alive and we're paid! I don't see the problem. And that is the problem. Bill, this is a very good tape.
Come on, Franklin. Sit up.
honestly, I love it when games and movies reference things that happened in real life. Okay. And prolonging this any longer. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to thumbs up the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you soon for the next one. As always, excuse me, had a beer. Anyway, after I upload this, the links to my socials will be in the description. As always, it's Dr. Stephen James saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon. Oops. Wrong button. Come on. Dang it. Alright, that's what I meant to do.